Excellent. You are watching Whose Views 60th anniversary of the cyber race. Once you have finished, like, share, subscribe, then eradicate them.
It's time to head back to 1985 here on Whose Views as we encounter the attack of the Cybermen. Hello, everybody. Who's that behind the book today?
Hello. So it's the Sixth Doctor handbook I'm reading. It's not as good as it sounds, I have to say. Yeah. So.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Whose Views Reviews and another in our series celebrating 60 years here in 2026 of the Cybermen. We're heading back indeed to Colin Baker's only encounter with the Silver Giants in Attack of the Cybermen, a story that is a sequel to several others. We'll be getting into all of that. As you can see, I'm with Paul and with Lex and with Phil and I'm with Graham. Gentlemen, hello. Good to see you.
Hello.
Good
How
to
are we
be here.
doing?
Fine.
Very
All
well.
good.
I don't think Paul did his homework, and that's why he's trying to read it out of the Sixth Doctor handbook.
Yes, I'm cramming as we speak, Phil. You're right. Yeah.
You haven't actually seen it, have you, Paul?
I've never seen it. Never ever. Yeah. Never ever.
I don't think, as a massive big Colin Baker fan he is, he's telling the truth. Listen, everybody, before we get into talking about Attack of the Cybermen, it is the 20th of May, 2026, and it would be absolutely amiss of us if we did not pay homage right now to our beloved Third Doctor, who 30 years ago, in 1996, we lost. Jon Pertwee, gentlemen, I think we need to raise a glass to John and everybody in the chat as well, because this is one of those moments, wasn't it, guys, where if you were around then, if you're old enough, you remember where you were. I distinctly remember where I was when the news of John's death came through, that morning. And as we talked about in our Wilderness Years show for 1996, it really affected fandom. We just lost the showman of Doctor Who, and what a talent he was.
Yeah.
Well, he was my
I remember
first
where I
Doctor.
was as well. It's so memorable. I was in shock at the time. I really was. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was immortal because he had that wonderful. He'd lived for so long. He thought he'd never die. Honestly, he's just such a wonderful guy. Yeah.
Likewise, Paul. And I think he lived life to the full, didn't he? And because he lived such a full and excited life, like you say, you think he's going to go on forever and ever.
Yeah.
And sadly missed to this day, and was my first Doctor Who, first one that I saw, and loved his era. Always have done. Everything about it really appeals to me.
Yeah.
He went out the night before doing a convention, money. He just did a convention.
He'd done one a wee while before. He was actually with family, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Gosh, it was. I mean, it's. I still can't get over the fact it's 30 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, and having seen him in Glasgow just a few months before in the January, it was just a real shock when the news came through. But I can still remember Whose Views. Those of you that were there will remember the way fandom just went and stopped. This can't be. It's like Paul was saying. It was just it was unreal. You said no, that can't be true because we're all going to go before he does.
And it was all the different newses on BBC, ITV. It was everywhere on the news.
Yeah, ITN did a big news item on him, didn't he? Quite a big one.
Yeah. I mean, for all of us, of course, he lives on. And thank goodness he was in Doctor Who, and thank goodness for his body of work. We will, of course, never stop talking about Jon Pertwee. He is our third Doctor. And next month on the channel, we do have some Jon Pertwee story reviews coming up for you. So come and join us for that. So, I mean, as I say, everybody, at the top of the show, on this particular day, it would have been wrong if we hadn't just mentioned our beloved third Doctor. To Jon, wherever you are, God love you.
That's nice.
God bless you, son. God bless you.
Yeah.
You are watching Whose Views. Nice to see you. We are continuing now with our celebration of 60 years of the Cybermen. So everybody hang on in there and get ready, Who viewers, because we are taking you back to the 5th of January 1985 and then the 12th of January 1985 for Attack of the Cybermen, which was written by, well, this is the thing now. We now know it was said to be written by Paula Moore. It was actually written, of course, by Eric Sayward. It was directed by Matthew Robinson. It was also script edited by Eric Sayward, which is where the old donkey stuff comes from. The old way of working.
Paula Moore was his drag name, wasn't it? That's how it was.
It was, yes. And of course, it was produced by John Nathan Turner. Now, I was 15, going on 16. There's a song there somewhere, but I was 15 when this started on the 5th. I remember the 5th of January like it was yesterday. We had Saturday Superstore in the morning, where Colin and Nicola were joined by Jackie Pierce, God bless her, and Mary Tam, God bless the lovely Mary. And they were sitting with Sarah Green at first, and they were talking about Panto and stuff like that, and they were plugging Attack of the Cybermen that night. And I remember that Saturday Superstore in the morning, and then having, even at 15, that anticipation of leading up to 5:20 or whenever it was that night, and Doctor Who being back with our new Doctor. I was so excited. And you know, Paul, watching Attack of the Cybermen Part 1, it all comes back.
I was going to add to what you said, back on Saturday night as well, from being twice weekly the year before, back to its proper time and place, kind of. Yeah.
Well, Doctor Who tea time on a Saturday night, you know.
Yeah.
But I just remember that, honestly, Who viewers, I can remember the 5th of January like it was yesterday. And it always, when I watch Attack of the Cybermen Part 1, it just takes me right back to that Saturday. There is something about it that just captures the excitement of there's a new Doctor. It captures the excitement of it's a new series.
New length of time, 45 minutes, wasn't it? The new longer episode, you know.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Just a happy
I
time.
kind of wish this was Colin's first story and not Twin Dilemma. But anyway, that's just me.
Yeah.
Hello, Zach. Zach Whitton is in the audience with us. Nice to see you, Zach. Episode 1 of Attack of the Cybermen got 9 million viewers. I was actually going to say that. So you preempt me then. Thank you for reminding me. It did. 9 million. Now, that's something you can only dream of in today's money.
Yeah.
I dream of it now,
honestly.
for sure.
Bedouia is in the chat with us as well. Starting the season with the Cybermen was a smart move. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that, but absolutely. Down at the store, said Rory there. You're absolutely right, Rory, down at the Superstore. And it was the first time in 5 years, says Stephen O'Neill, that Doctor Who had returned to its Saturday tea time slot. But Paul says it was proper day and time for broadcasting.
Yeah.
This wasn't Colin's first story. No, it wasn't. It was his second, but it was his first of the new...
Based on full season,
series. Yeah. And we had waited around about 8 or 9 months for this as well back in the day.
Yeah. That was too long to wait. Can you hear it? Yeah, sorry.
It's our new Doctor. John Roberts is also saying to us, guys, wasn't it great to see Terry Malloy as Russell as opposed to his usual appearance as Davros?
Yeah.
That was
I love it when he has that line. He says, Dalek, ?
Yes.
Like you don't know who they are. That was very funny. I like that. Yeah.
It was brilliant. Actually, at this point, I want to say thank you to Stephen Braddock, who has sent us a picture illustrating this. He did for us, guys. So this is from Steve Braddock, which is showing the bit where the Doctor is with the Cybermen, and you can see that's the scene from the TARDIS.
Yeah.
That
picture reminds me of the actual. If you freeze the picture of Colin and Simon together, it would have been a fantastic jigsaw puzzle. It really would have done.
It would have done. Yeah, would have done. Yeah, it could still happen.
I remember this was the very first story that I put on VHS. I taped it on VHS, and that picture that Stephen's done, I actually then got a still camera, paused the video, and took a photograph of the TV of the actual scene in the TARDIS, and it will come back all blurry and glared where the flash would flash on the screen. But it was my attempt to try and savour a bit more, so I had the video to watch and look at the pictures afterwards and stuff. Yeah. That's the one.
That's a beautiful picture. That's the one. You were doing your first telly snaps, weren't you? You were trying to create.
In case it went missing, in case they delete any more.
Yeah.
But it's just great. It was just nice going on VHS to look back on. You know, it was my first time, and a bit later than everybody else probably, but my first VHS, it was like, oh, fantastic, and rewatch it. And I must have watched it numerous times over the next few weeks alongside the following stories.
I've still got, Graham, every single episode of season 22 on VHS upstairs in a box.
Wow.
Yeah, every single
taped off the telly?
Sorry, Phil?
As in taped off the telly?
As in taped off the telly, on a VHS recorder. And I'm so glad I did, because we all know what happened in the middle of this season. And then we had to wait a long time. Yeah. So I had season 22 to play over and over and over and over again. So I know this season really well, everybody.
It was a good season though, wasn't it? A cracking season, I thought.
Well, this is what I want to ask our audience, because we are going to do a poll for you here, boys and girls in the audience. If you want to be, you've got to be in the chat for this. This is a very simple poll, okay? As we get through this, and as the guys and I are reminiscing, and now you're all reminiscing about this, I want to know, would you welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Nice and simple. Would you welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who? 1 for yes, 2 for no. The poll is there for you, okay? I'm going to hide that just now because we're covering poor old Philip. But would you welcome a return?
That's okay, leave it there, it's fine.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. There'll be another poll in a minute.
A bigger one that comes into our screen. Yeah.
Would you welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who viewers? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Okay, we'll get back to that, hopefully, if I remember, in the show. Mordrin Brown Bread, it's good to see you. Domgo, Itagishi, Dalek Shalom, Sheriff Brackett. Everybody's joining us for this. So let's get into this then. So I've told you my memories. Where were you not? Sorry, Phil?
Sorry, I didn't see this until the BBC video came out, and that would have been, well, it was in a tin, wasn't it? Around the turn of the...
It was in the Cyber tin with the 10th planet.
Yeah.
And nice. Surprised us, Phil. How old were you in 1985?
January 1985. I was 3.
See?
Okay.
I feel very old.
But I was excited.
I was 5.
I was excited, Graham.
I was 5.
I feel old, Lex. Yeah.
Bill Lowry is saying to us that Lytton is a great character. We should have had more of him. Maurice Colburn was a great actor. Maurice Colburn was a great actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think it was his sequel story. He was the main character, not the Doctor in this.
Yeah. I think it's a better episode than Resurrection. I think he's much better in this because he's been established as well, and he does lead most of it. You know, it's got that usual season 22. When's Colin arriving? Any minute now. Yeah, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah.
He's got a very James Bond voice, hasn't he?
Yeah,
well, he's British.
Yeah.
I think the guest cast in this are very, very strong, aren't they? All through this story, there's lots of quality appearances, but he is like Lex was saying, he's brilliant in this. I think. Yeah. I like him a lot in Gangsters from a few years before the thing set in Birmingham, written by the guy who done Vincent Barnes, wasn't it? But he's really good.
Bill Martin, yeah.
It's nice to see him in it, and a great strong performance. Lots of witty lines as well as there, and quite callous lines as well. But he's tops.
Brian Glover's great.
Yeah,
You said you came from Fulham. Yeah.
yeah, I've got that on there.
He's part of my childhood from the Tetley Tea ads.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, again, I'm going to say it to you, who viewers. I appreciate Attack of the Cybermen more just because of the horror we've been through over the last few years. You know, it's an absolute delight to go back and look at. And this isn't by far. This is not the worst Colin Baker story at all. That's time lash. But no, that but this is for me. From the moment it starts, again, I remember distinctly sitting down that night on the 5th of January at 5:20, 5:15, whenever it was, and I distinctly remember the opening, that beautiful traditional Doctor Who set the scene, the dark tunnels, and we're back in the sewers. Oh, that makes sense because the Cybermen were there before, and some of them may have been left there from the invasion, and it's just that whole thing, that music from Malcolm Clarke, the build-up, and then leading into the Doctor in the I just remember it so. And what a brilliant Doctor Who-y, as we all say, brilliant Doctor Who-y opening. It would have captured the Notwees as well, wouldn't it? The mystery was right there. You had
the guest stars in the who were the sewer workers in the tunnel, and he got looking at the map and says, "Hang on, this is not supposed to be here," and then we hear one of the fellas' names is David, hence why I put David, and he's going, David. And then we know what happens to David later on, don't we? So
cops it, doesn't he? But it's funny because I remember reading at the time and numerous other reviews, people criticise it for being like too continuity heavy. But when I was an original transmission, I was like yourself, JT, just 15, going into 16, and it was brilliant. I loved all the continuity. I loved it because I hadn't seen Club of the Cybermen, I hadn't seen the 10th Planet, but it was great to hear the Doctor reference Zoe and Susan, and then the Iron Foreman, Totter's Yard. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it. I can understand maybe for the casual fan, it may have been a little bit what they're talking about, but I don't think it spoils the story. I think you haven't got to have seen the 10th Planet to know what they're talking about, have you? Really?
No.
Or the Cybermen.
The thing is, I think, Graham, as well, is that even if you were not we watching this, there were 9 million people, so there would have been a hell of a lot of not we's on Saturday night watching this. Yeah. They wouldn't, because they knew the Doctor. They knew the fact that the Doctor had been had several, 5 previous incarnations. They knew he'd had lots of companions. A lot of them at that point would have still known. I remember the William Hartnell one with the granddaughter. Yeah. They would have been, and it was a different time, and also because, as you say, though, the story actually not in the way they do it today, which is slapping your face with exposition, but they explain it. That lovely scene where the Doctor has to explain that 1986, that's almost now, well, you could put it that way. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? How it explains what they're doing. Do you know what the big thing for me was? The big shock was, oh my God, the Cybermen have a time machine. That actually, oh no, that can't be allowed. That's not going to be, that can't be allowed. No, you can't have Cybermen trump. Imagine the Cybermen going through time, cybernizing everybody from different points of history.
So they don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
That's the funny hands.
They don't know how to use it. But I watched it with Ted, and he wasn't put off by references to stuff. He asked me a couple of times. Was that in an old one? And I was like, yeah. And we just carried on.
It was black and white. We'll watch it later.
Yeah. And how old's your son now?
Ted's 12.
He's 12 now. There you
11.
go. So just get on with it.
He's 12 in
August.
August.
They say that the young ones can't watch the old Doctor Who. Oh, please.
Yeah.
No, he likes it. Loves it.
Yeah.
I think the thing about it, what helps it, and that's why Ted likes it, it's an action adventure. And that's what Matthew Robinson did with Resurrection. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's fast paced. It's like Doctor Who does Minder a little bit in the first episode.
Yeah.
But it's got a real pace to it, and it's really exciting, and that's probably what Ted liked about it, I think.
He told me the
violence, obviously, with the
Cybermen.
Yeah.
He liked the brutality of them.
Yeah. Well, the Cybermen are brutal, and as we're discovering as we've started this series, which we started last year, by the way, everyone's celebrating 60 years of the Cybermen. They are horrific, they are terrifying, and they should be terrified. They are not Iron Men; they are converted humanoids. That's scary.
Yeah. And this is quite a good story for the conversion, isn't it? I like the bit when it shows you that some conversions don't work properly, and you've got the rogue Cyberman, and when he smashes out the tomb, That bit, even now, gets me. I always jump on his face.
Yeah.
And it's so well done, isn't it? We've got a lot of you in the... Oh, sorry, Greg, go on.
When you see Bates taking he shows his cybernized arm, doesn't he? I think in the second episode. It's a great story for the actual body horror side of the thing, which is great, which is nice.
That's the horrific thing I think we need more of. Derek Hart is saying March of the Cybermen was like the remake of the Imperial March for Vader in an Empire and Jedi. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And how many of us today can be walking around Tesco's and suddenly get in our head? Or is it just me? I don't know.
It's if you sing it, that's the problem.
I do. I hum it. I remember doing it in the 1982 Blackpool exhibition because the Cybermen were all in there. And I was, and then when the music came out, it's been in my head ever since.
Yeah.
My dad got cheesed off with me watching this over and over, says Pete Harrington. I bet he did. You should have just let him watch Nicola. And then Dom goes saying, I didn't think this season was too different to Peter Davison's. It's 23 was in it when it went all downhill. That's fair enough. Funky is saying, only problem with this season for me is that the part 1 always seems dragged out, leading to a cramped and overcrowded part 2. We'll talk about that because the 45-minute format. Ms. Chiff 23, good to see you. I loved how Peri thwarts the policeman with a handful of grit. It's bloody ridiculous.
Classic way.
I love that moment when Colin takes the other policeman down into that kind of thing, that hole where it is, and he gives him a stiff kicking, and all you hear is that oof doof doof going on. It's really funny, and then he pops up with a police helmet on. It's really brilliant timing.
Very Daniel Craig, that.
Yeah. The annoying thing about that, Paul, who viewers, is that he turns into Shooty Gatwa eventually. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jodie Whittaker. No. This is the Doctor. I mean, I know people don't like people slapping her around, but Pertwee did. Tom did. This is the Doctor defending himself and his friend. And you see it off camera as well. And I quite like the fact that the 6th Doctor is totally different to the 5th. And he's got no problem just getting down there and then bang, you're out of it, mate.
Even later on when he says to Peri, shoot him, Peri.
Yeah.
You're not sure if he's kidding or not. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I liked about the policeman? The fact they don't speak. They're so sinister. He doesn't say a word, does he? The copper, he's just the Lytton's policeman. Doesn't speak a word. He just points the gun and stuff.
They didn't in Resurrection either, did they? So spooky, the policeman there. In both stories. And both written by Eric, so that his characters knows what he's doing. Rory is saying to us, big brash 1980s with the 6th Doctor. Absolutely. Rewatching this again for this show, for some reason, why does it remind me of Dempsey and Makepeace?
Yeah.
Came out at the same time?
Yeah, but it's just because I've been watching Dempsey and Makepeace, but the feeling is quite similar. Do you know what I mean? It's that 1980s.
It's mid-80s, isn't it? Definitely, without a doubt.
It's great. It's really good stuff. Yeah.
And I think, like Paul said, it is Minder, isn't it? If you watch Minder, and Minder was really big at the time, wasn't it? In the mid-80s, with Dennis Waterman and stuff. And it's got that feel, especially the first episode. It's something that's unusual for Doctor Who, that the bank robbery and all that, and it was leading up to. So I thought it was very, very intrigued me as a youngster. The first time I saw it, I couldn't work out where it was going to go. Very great.
I mean that bit where Morse Coburn drives up in the car and they're discussing going to do the raid, the bank job, or whatever, the diamond job. That's shot very much like Minder or the Sweeney or something like that. And it's very much like a cop show, isn't it? That's been where you get Dempsey and Makepeace from that as well. Definitely.
And I've got the incidental music in my head of it now.
Yeah. And that's very catchy, isn't it? That's the thing, which is so good about it. Yeah.
I mean, this is a great one to start off the new series because you're meeting a new Doctor. You're starting off a series. It's very familiar. It's got a very familiar monster in it. It's got that 1985 vibe to it, as we're all saying here. It's a mystery. It's a bit of a cop thing. That's why 9 million people were entertained, I reckon. Dirty Davros is saying one of the most unsettling themes in this story is that the Cybermen are fighting extinction because they cannot emotionally accept death now. Wow, that's writing. That's unusual as we're looking through these cyber stories in this celebratory year. That's not been dealt with before, really, has it? This is the first time that Attack the Cybermen is the first story that really grasps, and I think the only one actually, that grasps that whole thing of the Cybermen are dying out. It's been mentioned in Revenge of the Cybermen. Oh, they died out, right? Here, it's continuity. This is the bit where they are concerned about the fact that we must preserve the cyber race. It's very
You
good.
need to go back to Curry's because their freezer's on the blink. Obviously, that's what's going on. Yeah.
I like that they're scared of the. Do you know the ones with the green kind of marbling on them?
Yeah,
the kind of the rogue ones. I love that they're scared of them, and the cyber leader's like, "Oh, crack! We're on this floor. We need to get off this floor. Come on, let's all go."
Yeah.
They're actually scared of it. I like it.
I don't think that's developed much, Phil, for the fact. I mean, the whole thing about the resuscitation program has gone wrong. How has it gone wrong?
Yeah.
What are we doing about it? I know they could have had a whole element. Again, time and hindsight, always a beautiful thing. They could have had an element of a rogue cyber army.
Yeah.
Oh, third episode would have covered it.
Who were out to get everybody because they were completely and utterly loony.
Yeah.
Paul Richards is saying to us, the Cybermen are brutal in the story and they're all the better for it. I have to agree. This is how they should be. What have we got here for a piece? P. Harrington saying, it would have given all fans memories of the invasion. So many lovely nods to previous cyber stories. But you didn't have to know them. I wonder if Third Doctor Ian would agree with that. Let's have a look. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Apologies again for my lack of commitment. Hello all.
I'll speak to you later, okay? Right, yeah.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
And you.
We've got hello to Koalam. Koalam 96, who's joining us in the chat this evening. Nice to see you, Koalam. Hello, welcome to Who's Views. Horror of cyber conversion. Well, sorry. I think, Koalam, what that for me is about, it is horrific. The whole cyber conversion process scares the hell out of me, actually, because we're actually seeing it in real life starting. It has started, it's continuing. And God knows where it could possibly end. And that's the brilliant thing about Doctor Who and sci-fi, isn't it? You know, and it's just, here it is. I mean, you mentioned it before, but I do have that picture. And of course, the Cybermen, for the first time, we get to see the Cybermen converting people, one of whom turns out to be Lytton. And it's gruesome. Obviously, it's 5 o'clock on a Saturday night, Paul. They have to be careful what they're showing. But, you know, this is a polite way of showing you. It's still a little bit, for the younger ones, maybe, it's still a bit scary, isn't it? You're being turned into a Cyberman. You can see it's a humanoid being turned into a Cyberman.
It's like the Borg, isn't it?
Well, we know that's what happened. We know Star Trek nicked the idea. Come on.
The simulation,
But
It
kids
does look
love
quite-
that,
quite-
don't they?
Sorry,
Kids love being a little bit scared.
Of course they do.
Well, yeah.
Like you watch, I see stuff with the boys, and sometimes I'm like, you know, do you not like this? And he's like, not really. I'm like, do you want me to turn it off? And they're like, no.
But I think that the conversion part of it, like Phil was saying, when we were small, I remember watching like Keeler turn into the Crinoid, and I was really scared of it, but I had to see it. Likewise, Noah, a year or two earlier with the Wirral. You know, you love this like feeling of it, and conversion and body horror plays on your like your subconscious, doesn't it? So it's a real fear, and this story's pretty good at that, I think. And like I said earlier, I like the way that it doesn't always work. Sometimes it goes wrong, and the Cybermen, you know, they're not perfect, and they've got their problems with their rogue ones roaming around and stuff. I thought it's pretty good done.
And they don't waste the ones that can't convert properly, because the guys on the surface, I can't remember their name, Bates and somebody.
Stratton and Bates,
because their brainwashing didn't go proper, did it? So they get a mine in. So it's a good system.
It's similar though, Phil, isn't it, to what Davros did with Carlid mutants? He just or things that went wrong, he threw them in the wasteland. Cybermen they just throw them in Telos and turn them into slaves. And they're part bionic and part humanoid.
So they're good workers.
Yeah.
Vote Phil for a cyber tomorrow.
Stratton and Bates, I can't remember which one's which, but Michael Atwell, who's the really aggressive one, is really scary. He's
scary.
Crazy
he
man.
says a line in it. I've got one of his lines. He says, "Like you, this planet really depresses me."
And he screams, doesn't he? And shouts. He's really
he goes, "You moron, you moron!"
Yeah. When he doesn't, when he pick the head up, and he doesn't do it, does he? In the first instance, and he's really cross with Stratton about it, isn't he? I like both them characters actually. I think they're an interesting little sub journey, and it's also quite callous the way that them and Griffiths are just killed off by in episode 2, aren't they? Just like killed by the door of the time ship thing, aren't they? And that's the end of them sort of thing.
I think that's amazing. I think that's because as a viewer, and again, I remember that Saturday night thinking they're bound to get away.
Yeah.
And then you're actually shocked with the fact, okay,
All for
They
nothing.
didn't.
Well, being an Eric Sayward script, they're lucky to last to the end, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true, Paul.
Bates got electrified by the door and he was instantly dead.
Yeah, exactly. But doesn't it show you that, not everything is like today's alleged Doctor Who. Not everything works out.
Totally agree.
You can't go back and change
Totally
things
agree.
all
Yeah.
the time. This is one of the things about this script and this season and Eric's writing of this. This is proper, as it was back then, action adventure with sci-fi mixed in. This is a proper action story. It's absolutely brilliant. I just want to say in the chat, hello to Richard Brooks, who's joining us again. Good evening, folks. Good to be back with you again. It's good to have you, Rich. How are you? Nice to see you. I hope you're all well. Good to see you. Just remind you, if you've just joined us, like this one down here, Ian, we do actually have a poll this evening, and I just want you to hold your breath for a minute because we're just about to cover you up. Because I'm just about to show you the poll. The poll tonight on the show is: would you welcome a return to this style? It's like a Chad. What? No.
So the use budgie. You
Put my hands there.
That's dated me, isn't it? Yeah. Would you welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the chat? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Okay, 1 for yes, 2 for no. There you go. Thanks for that, Ian. Oh, bless you. What was I going to say? Paul Richards, what are you saying to us, mate? Colin Baker's Doctor shows great resilience against the threats and doesn't weep once.
No.
Proper hard and dangerous, the Doctor.
Yeah.
And he's got reliable knees as well, which is
Got reliable knees.
Let's
Very
just big up Colin in this, because this doesn't feel like he's only been in the role for 5 minutes, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Good
he's
point.
loving every minute of it, you can tell, can't you? Yeah.
And also, he's still regenerating because he's still forgetting Perry's name. And then he does a reference to Jamie, which is a hint what's coming next, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that is true, actually. Yeah, but I'm really impressed with Colin. I remember being impressed with him on the night on the 5th of January as well, because, as I say, we'd come off about 8 or 9 months since the Twin Dilemma. We didn't really get to know him because he's in that awful regeneration trauma. Note to future producers: forget all that crap. Just get on with it. Just forget it. Crack. Yeah, exactly. From crack on. Forget all about regeneration trauma. We don't care. But here he is, and he's trying to repair the chameleon circuit. He's getting to grips with sort of stuff. But you're right. He just loves every second of this, Colin, and you can tell. And he's just a tour de force. This is his show now.
Yeah. And the opening seems great. He's marching from room to room in the TARDIS that seems massive again, because it's got all these roundels off a wall and he's walking off one into the other. And Perry's kind of tottering around, irritating him, to be honest. The first time, like last night, because I watched it, I did find her a bit annoying in the first scenes. And I was like,
So did I, yeah.
She keeps saying, "Oh, doctor. Oh, doctor."
And that bit where she's like, "Oh, you're as surprised as I am." It's like, "Oh, pee off." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're tagging along. Shut up.
Yeah.
But they're comfortable with each other. He takes her apple as a bite on her apple. And I just think there's the relationship's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, because Colin and Nicola had got to know each other socially as well.
Yeah.
And they were good mates. They were great mates. And we now know, of course, with hindsight, and Colin and Nicola will tell you this, they were not happy with the relationship, the bickering that was being written in on a certain producer, God bless him, insistence, because he thought that made good telly. It doesn't. And he admitted that years later. It was one of his many regrets. He shouldn't have had them. It would have been better if they'd been like they were in season 23 from this moment onwards, really, with Harry just being good mates. It would have also given Nicola a lot more to do in a script. Rather than just running around in a boot.
We'd had Tegan for 3 years with a similar thing with.
Can you not remind me, please?
We? So to do it again with Nicola and Perry, it seemed like a bit repetitive. At the time, I didn't really notice it. I know we're going to come up to it later on, but I must say, Perry's outfit, right? The funny thing that made me laugh was at the end of episode 1, when the cyber leader chappie says to Perry, "It's going to be cold on Earth. We get you some better clothes." Which was nice, wasn't it?
They're always style conscious, the Cybermen.
Yeah, only kind of worried about being a bit cold on Telos. So she changed into a red jumpsuit, didn't she?
It's very weird, that, isn't it? The cyber leader actually caring, that it's a bit out of character.
I like to think there was another Cyberman with her going, "Nah, not the blue. Not the blue. No, not the green. No, try the red jumpsuit."
The gay Cyberman is there. No, Ducky, not that one.
Are you sure about the blue belt? Well,
now, you're not taking a handbag out with you, ladies, so those shoes are perfect.
But going back to Colin, actually, although Colin's very rumbustious in this, isn't he? I quite
Ooh,
like
that's a good word. Say that again.
good word.
I'm rumbustious, yeah. But you know, at the end of episode 2, when he's with the midway through episode 2, when he's talking to, I can't think the Cryon's name. Is it Flask, the Faith Brown character? He's quite
Flask.
Yeah, that's it. He's kind of quite sympathetic and quite melancholy and sympathizing with her, doesn't he? And I think it's quite a noticeable turn of quietening down a bit and listening to what she has to say and really feeling sorry for her without patronizing her and knowing she's going to kill herself and sacrifice everything without being too over the top. And I thought Colin played it quite well in that scene.
Yeah, I want to know how she got in that room in the first place, though. I've never figured it out.
Do you know, Ted
I've not
asked
given
that.
it much thought.
Ted said, "How did you get in there?" And I was like,
Yeah, I'm with Ted.
It's like
with those nails as well. Yeah.
There must be a scene cut out.
Yeah.
No, they just didn't bother.
What about breaking a nail to open the door? You mean? Yeah.
Secret.
With a load of a volatile chemical that, if it leaves the room, is going to explode.
Yeah, they built the room
Sometimes
around
they
her,
don't
then
think it
forgot she was
through.
there, and then put all the volatile chemicals in there with her. There was stupid cyber controller.
The vast steel. Yeah.
Nathan Parker is saying to us, everything is in this. Action, Cybermen of every variety, the fun Sixth Doctor, a redeeming unexpected return of Lytton, the Doctor shooting the cyber controller in full bitch mode, actual deaths. It's real Doctor Who. It is.
And beheadings. So many beheadings.
Yeah.
If I had £1 for every Cyberman that loses a head, I'd have 4 or 5 pounds by the end of the story. I mean, it's...
Oh, listen, we've also got Dalek Shalom with us saying, every time I watch Colin, you'll like this, Phil. A very lot. I appreciate him more. He's so good in the part and love all the little nuances he gave the character. Well done, Dalek Shalom. I'm going to say you're absolutely right. And as I say, in this story, there's the Doctor. No doubt about it. That's the Doctor. And it was his second story. Miles D is with us, everybody. Round of applause for Miles D for our lovely themes, everybody. Good to see you, mate.
Brilliant.
How are you? Hope the new album's going well. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Miles D is saying to us, I've made it home to Join Yard's panel. I've been waiting for this one. You have, because you love this story, don't you? And he says that, I love this story. And Malcolm's music is mainly made on a classic Yamaha DX7. You can tell he's a musician, everybody. What's that mean?
Is that a motorbike?
Oh, it's lovely to see you, Miles. Thank you for coming to join us live on the show tonight. Everybody, if you don't know, Miles D is responsible for our 8th Doctor theme tune, which we're using for all our 8 Doctor stories. He's also responsible for our remix of the Headlines theme tune. And he put together that fabulously, gloriously fun Scores on the TARDIS Stores jingle, which we will be releasing on a single.
Do love it.
Excellent. I love that. Yeah.
That's cheers that with us.
It's just class, isn't it? Here's Richard Brooks saying to us, guys, the 6th Doctor is a force to be reckoned with. He has no fear. He's the smartest man in the room, and he is sparkling. I mean, sparkling with energy. He is.
Yeah, I was going to say, Colin Baker shows a great range as an actor in this. As Graham was saying, in terms of the kind of the different emotions he shows, and he's really shows a versatility and great promise. It's such a shame he only got 2 seasons. It really is. By the time he got 3 or 4 seasons, he would be probably one of some people's favorite Doctor.
Everybody's favorite.
Phil's. Yeah, everybody's favorite. Yeah, not just Phil's. Yeah.
He would have been there for 7 or 8 years. We know that to be true. Yeah. And had he got, I'm going to tell you guys, had season 23 gone ahead in the same style as 22, that would have cemented him in the public's consciousness as a very popular Doctor. I totally agree. Yeah. You know, because you wouldn't have taken that. It's a what if, isn't it? Yeah, at least Colin knew what the round things were for, said Funky. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. And Mischief saying to us, the 6th Doctor was the best at being an arse to the assistants. He showed alien
assistants for being an arse to him. Yeah. Self-defense being an arse. Yeah. Die on
arse retaliation, that's what it was, yeah.
Arse retaliation.
Yeah. Perry could never annoy me, says John the Computer Doctor. Yes, we know what you're getting at, Sunshine. We know you. And she's lovely as well, Nicola Bryant. Stephen O'Neill said, Nicola Bryant recalled being uncomfortable wearing a skimpy outfit in November in Britain. I don't know what she's moaning about, really. John Nathan Turner claimed that her had to be taped down as they were obscene. It's true. Nicola will tell you that. That's absolutely true, isn't it, Stephen? She will tell you that story.
She'd admit to having obscene nipples.
Actually, you can't say that. You can't say that word on YouTube.
Oh.
God.
That's why the Cyberman tried to cover her up.
Yeah.
It was a cybernized Mary Whitehouse, obviously. That's what it was, yeah.
I bought this on eBay for 80 quid because somebody said that was the reel that they used. So
Gasper's very versatile, Ian. You'll find it later.
Too much me and Nicola. So, I thought, prized possession, really.
But I must admit, though,
Don't tell me it's not authentic.
Her outfit alongside Collins in the first episode is bizarre, isn't it? That pink leotard thing. It is a little bit odd, isn't it? What are you thinking of?
But Nicola was famously expected as an American student to be wearing jeans and trainers and sweatshirts and t-shirts. But John Nathan Turner, of course, was always thinking about the older male audience.
And this was before Baywatch, wasn't it, as well? So,
yeah. But
I don't know
if I've ever told you this, guys. That was one of his many regrets when I got round to meeting him years after Doctor Who. He more or less told me he got Peri's costume wrong and Colin's costume wrong and all this and the relationship wrong. Poor fella. He had a terrible.
You got a wish in the final season, didn't she? Sort of.
No, she was. She always wanted Peri in baggy.
She had trousers and
with Snoopy on and all that sort of stuff, being the American student. But John had other ideas. Before I forget, actually, everybody, I don't know if you've seen these, but I do have some rehearsal pictures of Colin and Nicola on Attack of the Cybermen just before they go to a take. So let's have a look at these. I've got this one here for you.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. I've not seen that before.
Yeah. So as you can see here, Colin's not in full costume yet because he's wearing his own jeans and trainers there. I don't know if you can see. So he's got the costume. So this is just a dry run, isn't it? Just before they go for the take there on the set.
Famous TARDIS dummy screen there.
Yeah.
There it is, because there's no monitor in that one because it was off camera.
It's so expensive.
Maybe Colin was slightly trying to introduce his own costume by doing this. I don't know, his version.
Slowly removing bits of the classic costume and putting his own.
Yeah. And see if Jane T never noticed. Yeah.
And
it's
then I've got
angle for the console, that photo.
It's lovely, And I've got this one for you as well.
Oh wow,
nice.
Don't shoot me.
Yeah. And obviously there you can see Nicola getting ready to have her hands slightly tarnished by the explosion on the console, which was warm, apparently. It was a warm explosion for her. But I love these pictures. So,
It wasn't quite as bad as the Matthew Waterhouse moment, was it? To be honest,
no. To be honest, no, not really. No, but no. I think Nicola did quite well with that. All she had to do was, and that's what she did, and she got a few sparks on her hand, which were quite warm.
That first photo from above looks like that panel that everyone liked from Endgame on Monday.
Yes, it does really.
When you had the TARDIS console.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that, people, you can still watch it on YouTube.
Nice plug. Nice plug. Yes.
Well done.
Getting good at this, isn't I?
You are.
Rory Neal, behave yourself, or I'll put you in the Who's Views corner. When you're there, you can get yourself a lovely t-shirt, mug, or sweatshirt. Rich Brooks is saying to us, "Oh, that's great. Those pictures." Yeah. Pete Harrington saying, "Excellent." Darren is saying they didn't dare take that photo from the front view from above. No, they wouldn't have done now. Richard Brooks is reminding us, as you did there, about the Waterhouse wiggle. It's very famous. Paul Richards saying they're excellent photos. They are, aren't they? They're brilliant, these things. I love finding little things like that from behind the scenes. And if you remember what it was, you weren't really allowed up that, up there that often. It was, the
gallery was shut off a lot of the time, wasn't it? And some big fans got to look from the gallery, didn't they? Saw some of the filming. But Earthshock, famously, it was all shut off. They couldn't get into it.
It's true. Oh, I just love this story. I was just saying before you came on, Third Doctor, Ian, how everything I was never too keen on before has been reappraised by me. I love these reviews because I appreciate Doctor Who, our Doctor Who, even more now because of what we've been put through in the name of Doctor Who recently, Ian.
I think they've done us a favour, really, a backhanded favour, not intending to do it at all. But I mean, this is a really good, solid, meaty story. Caves of Androzani, it isn't, but it's action-packed. And it's one of the few stories in later years that gave me a couple of serious jumps. I literally jumped where the Cyberman gets his head punched off by the other Rogue One coming out of the tomb. That genuinely made me jump. I was not expecting that at all. It was done particularly well. when you saw Lytton with his hands crushed. I didn't expect them to go that far, and that was quite impressive. And yet, Bates Stratton and Brian Glover's character, was it Brian Glover?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
When they died, that was, like you've already said, a shock. There was surprises in this. And absolutely, when people died, they stayed dead, and that's the way real life is. It was a gripping story, a great season introduction, really was. Yeah.
I'd go as far as saying the funny thing is, it, like you say, maybe it's not the ultimate classic of the season, maybe, but it was such a strong period of time that every story was, well, 9 out of 10 stories were of that kind of caliber. That, albeit maybe someone's different angles, like Mark of the Rani being a more historical thing, but every story had proper characterization, you got to know the character, you got invested in them, you want to know what they were getting up to. Some stories like this one particularly had a lot of plot strands that were gradually coming together, different characters in it, and just really well written. And it wasn't an unusual occurrence, it was a regular occurrence, which we took for granted at the time, but now we don't.
Real appreciate
there's a lot of plot strands, but they're all kind of wrapped up as well. There's nothing that's just put in there for the sake of it. It's all relevant, and it's all kind of neatly tied up.
Considering that this is a sequel to loads of things, it's a sequel to 10th Planet, it's a sequel to The Invasion, it's a sequel in a sense to Resurrection of the Daleks. There's several bits and pieces in here. You're introducing a brand new race with the Cryons. You're introducing the fact the Cybermen are in trouble. You're introducing the concept of reject Cybermen. Yeah. There is a hell of a lot, but it manages to do it really well. Yeah. Considering it was supposed to be originally a 4-parter.
Yeah.
Lytton's character in this reminded me a little bit of Kelman in Revenge of the Cybermen, like a double agent, which I quite liked. And was the VHS of Revenge out by then?
That's
right. Yeah, because I'd seen Revenge on the original transmission, but was too young to understand, really what Kelman was doing. But then Lytton being a double agent in this as well reminded me a little bit of the Kelman character, because I must have watched Revenge of the Cybermen over and over again back in the day when it was coming out on VHS.
Well, it's more of Lytton's redemption story, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a sense, but I think I've said this before, with the Lytton character, I'm not as forgiving, because you have to remember he is a paid mercenary.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he's a mercenary, isn't he? He's a mercenary.
He's just I struggled with the Doctor's whole thing at the end, Graham, of being I've misjudged. No, you didn't. You got it right, Doc. You got it right, Doctor. Yeah. You cannot trust you, and that was the whole brilliant thing about, because he would have turned on the Doctor had he lived. Had he gone after that, he would have turned on him again, and there would have been another story where he's gone after him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It was just fortunate that Lytton allied himself to what we consider the good people rather than the bad guys, isn't it? On this one, the mercenary, whoever pays money, it worked for.
I don't know about you, but back then as well, the beautiful scenes where they're in the cyber base, in the sewers, and don't the Cybermen look fab in the sewers? They look really good. You've got the new cyber scouts, which are painted in black, so they must have popped out to B&Q or MFI at the time to get the black paint. And you've got that, but I just love the lighting in this works in the sewers. It for once with the BBC, the lighting is fantastic. You've got the glare of the TARDIS, you've got the natural lighting outside, more or less, in the outside broadcast, and then you've got the beautiful lighting. Look at that guy on the balcony at the back there.
Yeah.
That's a Cyberman for me. Just in the shadows, slight reflective, but when it comes to Lytton, at this point, I'm thinking there's something going on. Back in 1985, and I'm also thinking, well, he's bound to side with the Cybermen now to get him out of this, and the Doctor's about, and he's going to portray the Doctor. And then it goes off on that. I wasn't expecting this tangent. That confused me a little bit as a 15-year-old.
Was he using the Cybermen though to get off Earth? That was kind of what I got from it. When he's trying to contact them and monitoring their signals and stuff, was he not trying to catch a lift off Earth to get somewhere else?
He had to get Telos, didn't he? Because he says that he was trapped on Earth. He sent out a distress call, which the Doctor eventually picked up as well. The Cryons pick it up first, And they engineer between them all this plot of how, well, you've got Cybermen on Earth, use them with their ship to get you to Telos, and then you can do this for us.
Yeah. Lytton's line's fantastic when he says to the Cyberman, "My name is Lytton. I am your prisoner, Cyberman."
Yeah, snaps the.
That's a sort of a way of him cutting in. So.
Yeah, but it's also a way of the Cybermen suddenly realizing, you know who we are. There's more to you.
Yeah.
Cybermen aren't stupid, as we've discovered as we review these episodes.
And poor David as well. We see him becoming cybernized.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but I think I'm right in saying, wasn't the chameleon circuit being potentially repaired by the Doctor quite a big thing back in the day?
It was.
Yes, it was. It was. Yeah.
There was these rumours that the police box is gone and we're going to have something else, an organ or whatever it's going to be. Yeah, that was. I remember that being. Wasn't in Doctor Who Monthly was talking about it. And I think it even made the actual press, didn't it?
It made it everywhere.
Yeah. It was actually. I've been watching season 21. The box set, and there's lots of Saturday Superstore elements with J&T on it, and people writing in and giving possible examples of how the TARDIS might look, or don't change it, all that kind of stuff. And it was great. It was folded up in this, and he did it just for a laugh, and they had fun with it, and went back to the police box again. And that was just J&T. He knew his stuff.
Nathan Turner knew how to wind up fans, the press, and to an extent the British public. So when he announced the course, I remember, and I've still got it upstairs, the immortal headline, "Ta-ta TARDIS."
I thought so, yeah.
But then again, he comes back and he has this idea, which Eric goes with, of playing with this, just because at this point they've gone on to Saturday Superstore and they said, no, everything's fine. The TARDIS is staying in the police box. We all go, phew, because we've all been wound in by this and we all believe what John's saying. So we get this whole point, don't we, where he plays with it. So you get the traditional materialization in the junkyard here, and then of course the thing turns into whatever that was.
They can't find the door.
I like Griffin's line when he says to Perry, he says, "Cybermen, now Daleks, time travel in an organ."
Yeah.
My favorite Alexi goes, "What happened to the organ?" What's that? Yeah.
But I love the way they do it, because the TARDIS being the TARDIS, and like the Doctor and sort of the British element, can't get it quite right, can she? She's very eccentric. She's like, she's thinking about it.
Yeah, is that breakfast?
And the Doctor playing on the organ as well.
I've got it here. The Doctor plays the opening of J.S. Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor. There you go. There's for you. And he does it very well. One thing I don't like about this, although I'm more forgiving about it now, is of course the reference to the junkyard.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Why? It's one of those things that John just had. I mean, as if there's enough continuity in this. He just puts this memory berry into it. And it's not needed, in my opinion, guys. I don't know what you lot think.
It's not needed, but it's worth it just for the reworking of the Steptoe & Sons theme when it arrives at the junkyard. That's brilliant. It's worth it for that. Yeah.
Going back to Colin, when I rewatched this yesterday, I didn't realise, and watched it for a while, was when he talks to Perry and the other chappie and says, "I'll deal with a cyber scout." He looks quite, and then he goes and stands around the corner quite nervously, and he's stroking his cat for good luck, isn't he? And then he's you can see he's nervous. And again, Colin plays it really well, because he comes across to the other guys. I've got it in control. Goes out of sight and thinks, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" sort of thing. And he's got his sonic lance ready, and he.
Graham, I love that fact that Colin was trying to get his own little novelty Doctor thing to do, and rubbing the cat badge was brilliant. It was really nice.
Of course it was. Brilliant. And like JT said, in only his second story, this is a very early part for it.
Apparently, that was a idea of Matthew Robinson, who's directing this, and he suggested to Colin do that. And that's why Colin said, "Yeah, great," and that lovely little catty music around it. It works, though. It works for the Doctor. Derek Hart for a super chat. Thank you, mate. Following DB Cyber Leader was Cyber Leader at Blackpool exhibition many times. David Banks became good friends. I've got David, Colin, along with a couple of cast members at the house when I ran the local group. David Banks, I don't know if you know this, everybody, but thanks for that, Derek. Thanks for that. David Banks was offered the role of the cyber controller by Matthew Robinson and turned it down because he wanted to stay the cyber leader.
I think it's a shame. I don't think they need the cyber controller in this really, because it dilutes David Banks's cyber leader.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's two, so I think one or the other would have been fine. Yeah, it is a fat controller. Yeah,
it is
that's
a
the way-
fat
I noticed that all the Cybermen and Cyber leaders were tall and thin, and the cyber controller looked like he was very overweight.
Well, that's
he's got a
again
cyber diet, I think. Yes,
it's one of those unfortunate things, isn't it? Because again, it was the continuity. Because what happens here, as we all know, this is the return to Doctor Who for Michael Kilgareth, who of course played the cyber controller in the Tomb of the Cybermen, which we looked at a few weeks ago. And it was unnecessary casting. Nothing against Michael, God bless him, God love him, but they didn't need to do that if they were going. They could have cast a new actor in that.
Because you can't see him anyway, so he doesn't
would not know, would you?
It's a real shame, though, isn't it? So I carry on, sorry.
Sorry, no, they're saying the suit. Obviously, the suit in Attack is so different to the one in Tomb of the Cybermen. Aside from the fact that the ear parts are missing, you know, there's no, you know, it could be anything, anybody in there, couldn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say it's a real shame because Michael Kilgareth as the robot in Robot does a wonderful vocal performance, but in this he's completely lost. It's really muffled and doesn't sound that distinctive. But then you listen to David Banks or Mark Hardy, you've got a really good cyber voice going there, you know, and it sounds very much like Sword of Orion, you know.
He's a good actor though. He's a good actor though. That fellow plays cyber controller, but you could tell he looked very tired. In his performance, he was looking very slow, wasn't he? Walking. So
I think it could have been
on purpose, wasn't it? The slow movement, wasn't it? Like roboting, because he's quite.
He was doing a little bit of that. Yeah, I think it might have been nice if they needed some kind of cyber authority figure. It could have been interesting to have seen some kind of thing like what Vaughn had behind the wall, or what that were communicating with him, wheeling space. You know, the automated thing. And perhaps use the Tomb voice as well, which would have been really nice for that.
And got Pete Halliday back to do it. That'd be nice. Yeah. The thing about the slow Cybermen, I don't know if you noticed it, guys, a bit that made me laugh. It's in the cyber control, and there's one Cyberman extra trying to walk along the back of the set really slowly, and he's like he can't see. And I think if they cut it just in time, would have fallen off the set. I think it was just like really having real trouble with peripheral vision. It's very funny to look out for that next time you watch it. Very funny.
Bill Harris saying to us, JNT wound up the fans for publicity, not because he hated them. I don't think we said that he hated them. You know,
he was just a good showman. He knew how to sell things and try and create a buzz about it. You know what I mean? So,
John was ahead of his time.
Yeah,
everything John did back then, they do now.
Yeah. I mean, I recall back in the JNT days, Doctor Who was getting a lot of publicity for lots of different reasons, wasn't there? Like you say, the TARDIS being changed. Potential female Doctor, new time slots, new length of episodes, all made quite a lot of good press, didn't it? In the papers.
He made sure. He made sure. He knew everybody in the press that he had to know.
Imagine if he had Facebook.
I think JNT would have kicked RTD's arse on social media. He would have been an absolute demon on social media.
Amazing.
But I've said before, we wouldn't have been able to keep him off this show. I tell you, God love him. God bless you, John. Richard Brooks is saying, why did the lock malfunction when the TARDIS chameleon circuit was fixed? Why did the lock malfunction? Which I'm lost. Which lock is that, Richard?
Oh, the door lock, was it? When you open
no
the doors.
idea. You have to explain that to me.
Perry opens the door and it explodes.
Yeah. I think that's what he means. The joystick that opens the doors.
That's got nothing to do with the chameleon circuit, though.
Yeah,
that's just the door control. You have to explain that, Richard. I don't understand that. Davey B is saying to us, I've never understood how the Cybermen knew the TARDIS had become an organ. Time distortion. They could tell, even though the ship was disguised, they had these little bits and pieces that would have told them that's it there.
Would have been the
Cybervision. They carelessly left the door open as well. Obviously, that's what happened. But
be the Cybervision as well, won't they? Because they're machines, so they'll be able to scan.
Let me just explain this one. Darren Reed is saying, where were Peri's ankles in that TARDIS doorway shot? Back in the 80s, we had these little things called leg warmers.
Yes.
And that's what that is, mate. They are leg warmers.
Bonnie was a fan of those, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
She's about to appear in a Living Newton John video by the looks of things. Yeah.
That is such an 80s photograph, isn't it? Look at that. That screams mid-80s, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, she would have been cold when we were doing this. So
that's what the tape was for. Yes.
Don't forget as well that Nicola, during either Caves of Androzani or the Twin Dilemma, suffered really bad frostbite.
Yeah.
In her early days. So she was learning the hard way here. So she was probably covering...
Yeah, they lowered a false sense of security when they went to Lanzarote, didn't they? That was the thing. Yeah.
You've had your heat for this series.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting. Yeah.
Wait till you get to Seville later on, though, in the Two Doctors you're laughing.
It's great to see you all in the chat. Thanks for joining us for our review of Attack of the Cybermen tonight. Part of our celebration of 60 years of the Cybermen here in 2026. Dalek Shalom is saying his movements, the Cyber Controller, remind me sometimes of Jacques Tati, the way he investigates rules and objects and the way he'll navigate around the series. I see that actually, Dalek Shalom. I see it.
It's interesting because David Banks' cyber movement is wonderfully robotic. It works really well. It's a shame no one else does the same thing.
Nobody else is doing it, are
they?
Yeah. Bill is saying to us that actually, in context to what he was saying, that he'd mentioned that RTD hates the fans, which is what happens now, and John didn't. Yeah. See what he's saying there. It's great. What else we got in here from you all? Good to see you all, as I say. The door lock of the TARDIS, Richard is saying. The door lock of the TARDIS. What do you mean when it was a cabinet, a kitchen cabinet, or whatever it was?
I think you mean the interior doors.
Yeah, I think it might have only. I don't know. It would have had a lock. It would have had a lock somewhere. The Doctor probably found that or something like that because it's off camera, as it were, because it's behind the scene. You can't. With the police box, of course, it's very easy for the TARDIS lock because there it is. It was in the original police boxes as well. But there would have been a key lock. Remember, the keys for the Time Lords for the TARDISes were not Yale keys.
Yeah, unless it's like the Rani's TARDIS, of course, because that seems to be a wardrobe with a Yale lock, which is interesting. Yeah,
and then a pyramid.
Yeah.
And then a statue. Oh, no, that was the Master. We've also got here Andy. Hiya, Andy. I love the variants. Cybermen, the Rejects, and Ice Cybermen were great ideas, and they're underused. I totally agree. Yeah, there's so many things going on in this, isn't there, really? As we were saying, so many things going on in this episode. Hello, DPE, Driftport Entertainment. I love the model shots of cyber control. Doesn't it work well?
Oh, yeah. It still works today, though.
The perspective shots are really good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Again, Richard's saying to us, it's the gate TARDIS. The Cybermen walk in. Yeah. I think that's a bit of a silly disguise, actually. But it's obviously because they didn't have that much money because it's just two doors, isn't it?
Oh, the iron gates, yeah.
So was the lock broken on that though, or did he just leave the doors open? I got the impression he just left the doors open.
I think they left it open. Yeah, I mean, when you've got several hundred Cybermen in there already, you're probably still wandering around there to this very day. I don't know. Stephen O'Neill is quite rightly saying to us, Ku Stark was to appear as a Cryon, but fell out with the production team over the costume she had to wear. That is very, very true. Yeah, she was originally cast as Vaughn. And I've still got the picture from the Daily Star from back in the day, which announced her presence in it. Well, not the picture, the article in it. So Ku Stark's going to be in Doctor. She was famous at the time for going out with a certain prince.
Dodged a Brit there, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Formerly known as the Prince. Yeah, that one.
Exactly. It was 2 days after she'd done the photo call with Colin and Faith that she was fired due to an alleged contract dispute and issues with her costume. She was then replaced by Sarah Green, who knew Matthew Robinson. And that's not bad, actually, because Sarah was a massive, massive, massive name at the time.
Yeah.
You know, she'd done Computer for 3 years. She was on Saturday Superstore at this point. She was a kid's favorite, very brilliant presenter. Yeah, she was brilliant. And to hear she was going in Doctor Who, I remember being very excited. But which one is she? We all know she's the one on the left. But
I think her Blue Peter talents came in handy when she made the costumes.
I must admit, when I watched it as a 15-year-old, I thought the Cryons were a bit like, oh, no. But watching them again as an adult, I like all the ethereal kind of hand movements. And it reminded me of the Menoptera a little bit of Red Planet.
They remind me of the aliens from Final Conflict, where they do with the hands like that.
Do they? I don't know.
I just thought it's quite clever, and the way and their voices were good. I quite like the voices, so much more forgiving as an adult than I was as a boy back in the day. But I quite liked them actually. I thought they were quite good, and I actually like stories when you've got like the Vogons in Revenge of the Cybermen, and you've got the Cryons here, and even the Jacondans in Twin Dilemma. You've got lots of little alien races popping up in one story. It kind of gives it a bit more of a world building exercise, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's nice though that the story is actually bringing in a new race as well, because and to bring it in on Telos as well to show again the ruthlessness of the Cybermen, because they were wiping the Cryons out to take over the planet. Very now, isn't it?
Yeah,
allegedly.
Where were they in Tomb of the Cybermen though? Were they locked in a cupboard somewhere? What happened to them?
Is he being wiped out?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know all that clear sort of iridescent stuff around the mouth? Ted said, "Daddy, we've got that tinsel." Since we have for our Christmas tree.
I must admit, so do I. And every Christmas when I get that out, I do think of the Cryons.
They have got bubble wrap as well round their necks.
Yes, they have got bubble wrap. Yeah, you can see that on the Blu-ray.
Handy for parcels. Yeah.
Superb fingernails.
Yeah.
And of course, Eric tells the story as well, that they weren't supposed to be a female race. They were just supposed to be another male race. It was Matthew Robinson that said to John, "Can we change them to females? So we've got the balance, Cybermen and the Cryons." John said yes. They didn't pass it through Eric, and so Eric went off and allegedly onto some sort of unhappiness, couple of things. But all the things you learn after the event.
That's quite a novel idea, isn't it? Having them as a female race. I thought, I thought so. Yeah, and I must admit, who is it? The Faith Brown one? I can't think of her name. She balls outside. It's quite gruesome, isn't it? When she literally starts bubbling away, and that's her. I like her. She's nice, and she starts coughing, gets all bubbly, and cops it, doesn't she?
When she goes to try and get some help from the cyber leader, and David Banks kind of straightens up, that is so nasty.
Yeah. He won't let her get back into the fridge, will he? Nice.
These things, I mean, Faith Brown, massive name at the time. Sarah, massive name at the time for something different. And Sarah Berger, a really solid name at the time for the acting, and stuff like that. And then they covered them up. They covered them up. It's just, what a shame. They could have come up with some sort of Pertwee era type design where it was, you could at least see them through the latex or something. Here's a helmet, love. Stick it on. Go. What a shame. Do you know what I mean?
You couldn't tell.
Names.
You couldn't tell because everyone had the same similar eye type color, and you could think, who's who here?
Yeah.
They do have a good look, I think. Because it's kind of crystalline and kind of almost transparency. I think it's a good design.
It's a good look, but But
I get your point that you waste a celebrity by covering them in tinsel.
Yes, and I just think if you look at something like the Draconians, you can sort of see the actor in it.
Oh yeah.
Like that with the latex, with all that glittery stuff. Because it's supposed to be ice, isn't it? They're supposed to be called ice.
Yeah.
If you were doing it today, you would do it differently, wouldn't you? So you could see the actor.
Yeah.
It's just the same because there was at the time there was such a fuss in the press. Faith Brown's going into Doctor Who, so people would go, "Is she? Oh, I'll watch that." And then she, bless her, she went on practically everything. I remember getting up early one morning and switching on breakfast time, and there's Faith going on about Doctor Who and doing a Maggie Thatcher impression and all this sort of. And it's brilliant. Oh, I love Doctor Who. I love it. She was preempting Russell T Davies by years. I love it. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. You have to watch it. And then people would have gone to look at the episode for her. Where's Faith Brown?
that wasn't the episode where she did an impersonation of Rusty Lee, was it? Have you seen that clip?
I think it was. Actually.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
We love Rusty Lee. Oh, bless. She's still around, isn't she?
I love her.
Still around.
She's funny.
But no, I just think, and they work. So I mean, this is where all the movement and everything has to come in because they can't do anything with the face. Yeah. So they work bloody hard, those ladies, and bless Faith Brown because of course she's no longer with us, but Sarah and Sarah are. And when they catch this show, because they know we love you. Sarah Green used to live down the road from me, but that's another story. Where are we going next, gentlemen? Where should we go next? I tell you where I want to talk about next. Actually, we'll go into the chat before we talk about it. Let's see what they're all saying. Darren Reed is saying, yes, Sarah Green made her costume out of washing up bottles and sticky back plastic. Pete Harrington saying, Faith was very recognisable. Stop it, Peter. I know what you're getting at. Yeah, she was famous for that as well. And she owned it, didn't she, guys? She would always own that. She would own it. Stephen O'Neill is saying it's been estimated that 55 deaths occur on screen in this serial. Good grief, really?
Is that more than Resurrection or not?
Resurrection even
that
more.
Is a lot of death.
Yeah.
Gosh, it is a lot, isn't it? That is. I didn't realize actually. Hello, Forbidden Man. How are you? Mankind's destination will be to end up like Cybermen. We're on the way. We are on the way. Funky.
Well, vote me, and you can guarantee it.
Yeah. I'll always remember Sarah Green from Ghostwatch says Funky. Now that caught everybody in Britain. That one, didn't it? Yeah. What a show that was.
We should do Ghostwatch.
And Mike Smith. Oh. What else we got? Zach is saying to us, Zach Whitten, while Attack of the Cybermen episode 1 was the first 45-minute classic Who episode, ABC TV in Australia, God love them, cut each season 22 episode in half. So some of the 22.5-minute episodes ended up lacking cliffhangers. We've actually, now, was it on telly, that 4-part edition of Attack of the Cybermen, or have I seen that at a convention where the cliffhanger is so lame, it doesn't work?
They do it on US Tubi. The same
no, it wouldn't have been that. It would have been back in the day somewhere. Did BBC ever show a 4-episode version of Attack?
I never saw it.
They did a 4-episode version of Revelation when they did the that season with Time Meddler up into Battlefield or whatever. They did it on that for Revelation, but not Attack.
No, I'm assuming then it was at a convention, and we were all sitting there watching this, and it was, I would imagine, from what I can remember, we were sitting there, and the actual episodes, the two you just thought, this was not made to be split into two. You can't do that with this.
A bit like they did with the 5 Doctors when the Master just came down those stairs and boom, straight in it. Yeah, that was terrifying.
Right. Yeah. Richard Brooks saying to us, the Cybermen retain the time ship, although the loss of the cyber controller would be a blow to their organization. I wonder what they did next. Is there any follow-up in Big Finish? Probably. But I thought the cyber ship was destroyed when the cyber control itself was destroyed.
I thought it was sat on the roof and they all went up together.
Yeah, it did.
I thought it all just went boom, which is why they struggled again. I don't know. What else we got? Dirty Davros saying that Colin Baker is unusually alien here. Sometimes appears detached of ordinary human emotion. That's because he's not human, the character. Intellectually intimidating, morally hard-edged. There are moments when he's a dangerous cosmic strategist. Totally agree, Dirty Davros. And that's why I think I like...
That's why I like it, yeah.
And we've got to remember, he's coming off the back of Peter Davison's Doctor, who was very likeable and pleasant and human in a sense. Here's a return to the alien style, but not the way Tom was doing it. This is hard, as you say, it's hard-edged.
It's definitely edgy, definitely, yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. The change from kind of the softer, that bloke from All Creatures Great and Small, into this guy who's a bit edgy and he's a bit scary, actually. Like, he's your mate, and if he's on your side, he's a good lad to have, but you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of it. Yeah.
Totally true on that one. More deaths than the Terminator.
Yeah. I think that's a famous fan thing, though, Lex. I'm sure I've heard that. Dalek Shalom is asking you, did I see an all-black Cyberman in the cyber control room? And is it the first?
Yes, you did.
I think they were used for the sewers, weren't they? So they can patrol in the dark. That's what, yeah.
The Cyber Scouts were... This is the first time you see the Cyber Scouts. And yes, they were painted black because they were in the sewers. But yeah, the first time, and as far as I'm aware, the last, you get to see the Cyber Scouts.
Diversity even there.
Camouflage.
Yes, that's what it was.
Box ticking again, that's what it is. Yeah.
Hello to Robert Thomas, who's joining us in the chat. Nice to see you. This story so divided and polarized the Australian fandom that the then president of the Australian fan club resigned in protest at the casting of Colin Baker and the direction of season 22. I never knew that.
Was that Dallas? Was Dallas with the guy who ran the Australian one? Was it Dallas?
I have no idea. Really, Robert? That's good gossip. Thank you for that. Okay, we're a few years late, but that's good gossip. That I didn't know that. That's weird. Why would you have done that? I mean, where is he now, and what does he think about the direction of the show?
It's funny, actually. I have contemporary friends of mine who same age as me, who hated this era completely. I loved it. But a lot of fans didn't like Colin at all, and there's a lot of backlash from other fans of my maturity, shall we say? So it's kind of like it's interesting that I love it, but they don't like it. They still don't like it, even looking back retrospectively, which is weird, But
I've just got a new favourite quote comment in the chat. Everybody, it's this from the Forbidden Man, who says, "Why is this show so good week in, week out? It must be we have the best host running it." Totally agree.
Are we talking about Attack of the Cybermen? Because it was a good week in, a week out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be cheeky, Phil, if I were you. You know, love you.
Oh, is it Funky? Funks is saying to us, don't all the season 22 Duff cliffhangers appear on the DVDs as a special feature for each show? It could be that, Funky.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Wow. Oh, well done. Thank you, Funky. You know what my memory's like right now? I don't know. So all good stuff.
I think we know what we're all doing after the show, though.
Yeah, we'll all go through the DVDs.
I'll just watching Get It Now.
Though he went uncredited, says Stephen O'Neill, this is Pat Gorman's last performance in Doctor Who. Cool. Yeah, we have to acknowledge that, because Pat Gorman had been a mainstay of Doctor Who, as we all know, for God knows how many years.
I love what happens to him though in the scene. I think it's Stratton and Bates run off after the field trying to get the Cyberhead, and they just shove Pat Gorman over as he runs off. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah.
What a send off.
Yeah. But it's weird, isn't it? When, we've got all these channels that show all these repeats and all these old things. How many times Pat crops up in all these? And I go, "Where's Pat? Where's Pat again? Where's Pat again? Hey, there's Pat." He made a good career out of just being.
Yeah, it seems like when the boat comes in, the Secret Army and stuff like that, they're all over the place, and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, Pat made an incredible. I mean, you know how difficult it is. In that profession, and even more so today, but then it was different. Pat must have been working solid just because he didn't want the starry stuff. He was happy to take the ongoing work of being back. That's the key. That's the key. Never mind.
And occasionally you get out the odd line like in Robo or Genesis or whatever, which is great.
Yeah.
For example, here's Pat and Quick Save.
Funky says, do the Cyber Scouts do Bob a job? Showing your age there, mate. I tell you, Funky. Yeah, but they do.
Dib.
Just have a word with BBC Studios and they'll send them over for you. It's good to see you on the chat. It's so lovely. Thank you. Jess Corbin, nice to see you, lovely. Was adding a new body part, accessorizing. Did they fight over who had the biggest, the longest? Naughty. I mean, arm and legs. Stop that right now, Jess. Very naughty. It's still horrific. This is. I still say, considering it was 5:15, 5:20 on a Saturday night. This is good stuff.
Wasn't it originally going to be a later time slot? I remember seeing it.
Yes, I heard about that.
Be later because it was so violent. They thought maybe after sex it might have made all the difference, obviously. But yeah.
I seem to remember being told they were looking at around about 6:45, 7 o'clock originally.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, from back in the day. I haven't got anything to tell me that was wrong, but there was a lot of stuff going on, wasn't there? Really, and to put it on at 5:20. I mean, Mr. Grade was in control of the channel at this particular point, and he had seen Warriors of the Deep by now, so he knew the show.
Yeah, but he saw Timeless later on in the season. That's what happened.
I mean, we have to put it in context. This is the 5th of January. Several weeks later, he cancelled it. He officially cancelled it, even though season 23 at this point was in the works.
Is that after the shock of Time Lash hit him and sunk in?
That's when he regretted it. That's when he was like, I've acted in haste here.
Yeah.
It was the Merca. Just blame the Merca. PTA is saying to us, Colin Baker was crap, full stop. Hammy acting and totally dislikable. Nicola Bryant's fake US accent was like scraping knives. Okay.
All views are welcome except Paul Ashworth's regarding Colin Baker, which is just incorrect.
Oh, bless you, PTA. It's lovely to see you. On the balance of that, we've got Prill Richard saying, I disagree. Colin Baker was terrific, very engaging, and gave us an edgy, more unpredictable Doctor. Again, I would say I liked Colin at the time.
Yeah.
I'm appreciating him even more now.
Yeah, and also wasn't the plan to tone him down over a period of years? Because he was going to do longer than 7 years, wasn't it? And he was going to gradually, mellow out somewhat.
We got a little hint of that. We got a little hint of that in his final story that season, where he says, "I'll take you to," and you could see he was changing then, with a little smile on his face.
He's quite mellow in the Vervoid
yeah.
one, isn't he? As well, he's quite amiable character in that, really.
Miles D is saying to us, a new special effects was used in this story called the image feedback effect, seen when a Cyberman shoots one of the Cryons. It's used loads in the Super Grand series, which was also January 1985.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to watch that as well, Miles.
Oh, yes.
Did you? Oh, that was, I don't know. There was just something so homely about Super Grand. You know what I mean? It's a great show. Image feedback effect.
Is that the white? Like the light
it goes.
Yeah,
that's where Super Grand uses her powers, and that's the wave thing they do.
Not in this episode.
I was thinking.
I'm not going to watch it the same again, Lex. After hearing that, honestly,
this is the bit where Sarah Green's Vaughn, she gets bumped off.
Melts. Yeah.
Which they spoiled because they showed it on the 5th of January on Saturday Superstore. Just thought, she gets bumped off in it. Oh, well done. Well done. Pete Harrington is actually saying, and I agree with this, the Cybermats would have been a nice touch in the sewers.
Yeah, just milling around, just sort of doing their job.
Always a question from Derek Hart to you guys, to the panel. Would we welcome this version of the Cybermen to compare RTD's 2005 to 2022 instead of the versions we got? So would you prefer with this version of the Cybermen or the new version of the Cybermen, basically?
I prefer these ones.
These ones. They don't stop for a start. So definitely
RTDs are very, very Iron Man.
Yeah. These are real Cybermen.
Yeah.
RTDs are a robot. These are people who robots who used to be people. A bit. You know what I get.
A bit of organic, bit of machinery.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've said it before. I said it when we looked at the rise of the Cybermen and whatever else it was called. I don't like that whole Iron Man clunk clunk stomp stomp mechanical version. The Cybermen, the horror of the Cybermen is the fact that they were human.
Yeah, they used to be us.
And they find their humanity, even though they're controlled. They're trying to. I know that's what I think of the original Cybermen now.
Going back to the cyber conversions we talked about earlier, when you see that shot of Morse Colburn being converted, that one there, it's interesting. Then earlier on, you see when Colin goes into the helmet of the Cyberman, and it's just a chin. Did they scoop him out? What happens?
I think that was done because this did occur to me when I'm rewatching it, and it didn't at the time because it made sense. But this would have been, of course, because they couldn't show that horror. You couldn't at that time on BBC television, and you couldn't really in Doctor Who today take the faceplate off and have a grotesque humanoid underneath it.
He's got that wonderful metal chin, though, hasn't he? There, which is really nice.
The metal chin from the Hangover from Earthshock. But I think what they've done is they've done that deliberately, obviously, to show.
But they did the nice lot of copious amounts of green guns coming out of the arms and stuff like that.
Well, if you remember the scene with Bates, he gave you a little hint, scoop her out. Then put the mask
on strap, doesn't he? And the head's forward like that.
Yeah, he says scoop out the stuff out the mask and then put it on. So you got a little hint that someone was inside there. So
they've got cyber mice in the tombs, probably. That's what it is.
With the green, though, you'd always had in the books, hadn't you, that when they were dying, they would leak green hydraulic fluid, and you never really saw it, but you did in Tomb of the Cybermen, but it was foam. Whereas showing the green slime here, I think it was a little bit of a hark back. I mean, there were so many things, weren't there, we've already touched on, that were harking back to different stories and everything. But it was a nice touch. I think the rogue Cybermen, the ones driven insane, were a good touch, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a science fiction staple when you think about it, Ian, because, coming out of cryogenics, some humans go insane. So why wouldn't the Cybermen? They have been frozen. There's nothing to say that. It's an interesting.
We don't know if the Cryons have been tampering with frozen Cybermen in the background, because the cold's not going to affect them, is it? So if a Cyberman's in deep freeze, the Cryons are still fully mobile. They could do anything.
That's a nice Nice extension to the story there.
It's a lovely extension. To
the Cryons are doing a bit of
sabotaging. Yeah.
Copyright whose views, JT?
Yeah. I mean, it is implied that there's been a war between the Cybermen and the Cryons for eons at this particular point, haven't they? You know, and the Cryons are losing. They are losing the war. It's brilliant. Funky is saying it should have been called Decapitation of the Cybermen because so many heads were destroyed. And Nandy is saying, I remember Sarah Green on Saturday Superstore going on and on about her role alongside Faith Brown. It was called marketing. John Nathan Turner would have been at the offset there, delighted. He would have been delighted because he was there. Mark Greaves, hi JT, how do you think some of the current writers would review an older story? I'll leave that. You lot answer that because
badly.
Yeah.
They'd be condescending, they'd be rude, they'd be arrogant, opinionated, and they would copy every goddamn bit because that's what they always did.
Thank you for that, Mark. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily be interested in a lot of the new lots and what their opinions are. But to be more, I don't know. I think they could learn. I think a lot of writers should go back and look at writers from the 60s, 70s, the 80s to learn how to put a story together because there's a beginning and a middle and an end. And I think some of the stuff we've seen, I mean, you know my opinion, everybody, on the stuff we've seen recently. It was shallow. It was crap. It was utterly, utterly insane. Worst television ever. And you go back and look at the Attack of the Cybermen, and you sit there with a cup of tea and a suggestive biscuit, and you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I'm into this. This is great. You know, fantastic stuff. This an Attack of the Cybermen, as we said, it starts with the sewers. Look where you end up. It takes you on this is a real roller coaster of a journey.
On another planet.
Yeah. And the locations of Telos with the smoke, it's absolutely brilliant, really atmospheric. It feels like another planet, even though it's just the same quarry from Tomb of the Cybermen. It is actually looks great, you know.
It does. But Chris Kaz is saying to us, as for the tombs, I much preferred the cling film doors from Tomb of the Cybermen rather than the B&Q panel doors in Attack of the Cybermen.
The thing is, though, with this story, we were still 5, 6, or 7 years away from Tomb being discovered. So it was only those people that had seen it in Doctor Who publications, which would be the minority of the actual audience. So they could get away with it, couldn't they?
But there's so many photographs you could see at that time, isn't there, of the images of the tombs. So they could have referenced them a bit more, even if they put on like a stencil of the Airshock heads. You know what I mean? They could have done that. You know? But,
they could have done that, couldn't they? The head stencil would have been a good thing to do, really. Yeah.
You couldn't also, because of the script, you couldn't also have Cybermen climbing down the ladder like we did in the Tomb.
No.
You know, because there's more action in this, isn't there? They had to be, and the Tomb is actually part of this. So the Doctor actually goes into one of them at one point, doesn't he? As we said there. So you know, it was
the rogue ones would burst out and fall over.
Yeah. Is the cyber controller the same one from Tomb of the Cybermen? Asking Synth John.
You see, I thought he says, doesn't he say, "Oh, I thought he was dead," and he said, "Oh, yeah, he was damaged and
merely damaged." Yeah.
So is he supposed to be the same one?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I think it is.
Well, he's played by the same actor, Phil, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can see that.
At this point, St. John, in Doctor Who's history, there is one cyber controller, and he's just about to get his comeuppance in this, or did he? But no, this is the cyber controller. And I quite like that fact that they've established there's one almighty. You know, in this story, though, he's making a hell of a lot of mistakes. Really, really bit daft.
He would have got fired had he not been defeated. He probably would have got fired by the time.
They had an interesting way.
Alan Sugar, that kind of thing. Yeah.
They had an interesting way of blowing up, didn't they? With all the little mini explosions all the way over the body. That was quite.
What do you think of the choreography of the death of the Cybermen, like the Cybermen domino effect they have when they bump into each other, explode, and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, incredible.
I think it's a trade-off between the comic scene there, and the comic scene where they're trying to get out the room where it's about to explode.
The jazz hands bit. Get out. Quickly run. Yeah. So.
That should have been done again. That scene should have been. No, you're not human. You're a Cyberman. You would just stand there trying to compute what's happening. Bang. You wouldn't go, get out, lads.
Maybe that was the stylist one from the TARDIS.
It could have been.
It was, yeah.
Possibly. His last thought was, "Thank God I'm wearing these boots."
I I tell you what I thought was quite a neat twist at the end as well was Terry Malloy's character being a regular policeman and trying to infiltrate Lytton's gang, wasn't he? Which was quite a novel ending, wasn't it? A little bit we didn't find out till the end.
He got cyber chopped at the end of episode 1, and then that's him until the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting character. But again, it's this thing that, as we were talking about before, what Eric has done here is he has provided good characters. And I always think as well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that because of his love of the Robert Holmes style of stuff, I think that's informed how he writes characters, and to an extent, he's not doing it in Robert's way; he's doing it his own way. But we've got the double acts here.
Stratton and Bates.
Exactly, and it works that well, I think.
Even Lytton and Griffiths to a certain extent, because they've got some great lines, haven't they? When he says, "Was it?" Griffiths says, "I thought you said you came. Sorry, I thought you said you came from Fulham." He said,
"Lovely line."
There's another brilliant line that Payne has about Griffiths. So he's allergic to nylon. That's a fantastic line.
So the humour is in there.
I can't think of what he actually says, but Maurice Colburn's Lytton says something to him, like basically, if he doesn't do what he's told, you, Payne, will kill him, doesn't he? Or you, Payne, will shoot him or something in the first bit in the car. And it's quite like callous. It's quite great.
I like where he said, "You are." Well, you say, Paul. He said, unless he's allergic to nylon. I like the way he just goes, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, it makes him soft because he can't.
And Lytton gets him again when he says, Griffith says, "How thick are the walls? Less than you."
Yeah.
It's lovely.
It is Robert Holmes, isn't it? Very Holmesy.
Yeah. But I mean, Saward does put the humour into it. I've always been amused by the line when he says, "Oh, we used to use one of these mallets when I worked to the council." Well, this time it's for swinging, not leaning on. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. How many times when we were growing up did we see council workers just like,
You say very like Robert Holmes, but Saward was a absolute acolyte of Holmes, wasn't he? He loved him.
He loved him to bits.
And Griffin's line where he says about the Cybermen, "Why are you talking like this?" And then he comes up the Cybermen, goes like that.
Yes, you're right. Forbidden Man saying to us, the TARDIS is so big, there might be other Cybermen still in there. Not to mention the odd Sontaran.
Yeah, and there's still Cybermen from Earthshock wandering around as well. Remember when they went off, never came back, I don't think.
I think the Cyber Lieutenant didn't he?
But I think there was another 3 of them went in, and the Cyber Lieutenant was there, and he went off, he came back, and they're all still wandering around, I think, somewhere. Probably in the swimming pool somewhere.
Or the cloister room. The cloister bell room.
They would have found something to do. They would have found the bar.
They found the bar and they're in there and they're like, "Oh God, I hope never find us down here. Just keep quiet. Keep the jukebox low."
There is that story. Once there was a Cyberman, a Sontaran, and a Pteroleptor that went into a bar. They're all in the TARDIS, sitting there going, "Well, we're lost, guys. Do you remember that time we were warmongering?" Anyway. Bedouir is saying to us that the Cybertoons were sponsored by B&Q or Homebase. It would have been MFI in those days, love. You won't remember that. You're young. MFI.
Homebase is back in the range now.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris is saying to us, Chris Kaz is saying, "I don't know why the Doctor thinks the Cyber controller was dead. He didn't actually see what happened when the tomb doors closed. He just assumed, didn't he?"
Yeah.
As you would, I suppose. He just assumed. I thought he was dead. Wrong. I'm wrong. You're in a sequel, mate. Get on with it. Gavin Graham is saying, what did Sutek think of the organ, I wonder? Probably wanted to have a go on it.
Well, the music does carry on, doesn't it? So after the Doctor's played the it does carry on. So that's maybe Sutek taking over.
I hate to think where Sutek was actually sitting on top of that organ. They would have been, "Oh, this is very uncomfortable. Get that sorted again, please."
What about the gates as well? Goodness me, yes.
Right.
Well, that breaks that theory in Modern Who. Sutek was not there.
We know that for a fact. We know that. Lock a Sontaran in a room with a sack of potatoes and he'll start a fight, says Funky. Yeah, that's the beauty of the Sontarans. They'll always find a reason. They'll always find a reason to fight, won't they? Lex, you were mentioning though about the rating for Attack of the
Yeah.
before the show.
On video and DVD, it was a U originally, and when the Blu-ray came out, the British film classification looked at it again and changed it to a 12.
There you go. So basically, had we been going by today's standards, Attack of the Cybermen would not have been allowed to have been shown at 5:20 on today's telly, when we're supposed to be all modern and progressive and movement and tolerant and all this sort of stuff. And yet I think if Attack of the Cybermen was shown today in full, I think it would be a great hit, because it's an action, adventure, science fiction, mystery, thriller. It's got all those elements. It doesn't look, although I quite like when you look at the scenes in old Doctor Who, and it comes out in this one as well. There's Britain as it was. There's London as it was. You can see the old. It's not the sprawling mess it is now, with glass buildings every 2 minutes and litter everywhere. That's London as it was, and those streets. That's how it was. That's how Britain was. That's certainly how
nostalgic.
London. Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's sad in a sense to think, there's the Britain I grew up in, and I remember it very, very well. So from a historical point of view, it's quite important, but it's also a case of you would recognize it as being, it's 1985. The Doctor is actually in 1985, not for long, but they don't do what they would do today by stating it all the time and doing things like referring to, there's this new thing on telly called EastEnders, or do you know what I mean?
They didn't have to go outside and saying Earth 1985. They didn't do that, or Telos. They've had a little name underneath it all. They do that all the time.
You just had someone reference the name Telos, and you were there.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very good, that one, isn't it? It's far better than what we've had. I would say this. Yeah. This is proper Doctor Who. I used to love popping into London in the late 80s and 90s. I miss those days, says Richard Brooks. Yeah, it was magic time back then. Really was. And it's lovely to see ye olde London in 1985 in this way.
The business buildings and all that, the banks and in the background. It tells you how London was then.
Another important aspect of this story, of course, as Pete Harrington is saying to us, even though he's having a bit of fun, Bill Haley's comet makes an appearance in this. So yeah,
I'm trying to think. What was the comet reference quite topical at the time?
Yes, because it wasn't it? Earth in 1985.
Yeah,
that was the last time it was here, and let's face it, it's not going to be. When's the next time? Can somebody look up when?
76 years. It was 1910 and then 1986. It came in towards the tail end of 85, went round the sun, and then was more visible on the way out.
A bit like Nemesis kind of thing,
Yeah, it's every 76 years. So it was 1910, 1986, and then...
I'll be here in the 90s then.
Well, I think I'm in my late 90s, early... I'm not going to be here. But it was
early 80s.
Yeah. Newsround John Craven's Newsround.
Early 120s.
John Craven's Newsround had news features on this thing coming. Blue Peter did, Superstore itself did, and here's Doctor Who at the beginning of the year getting in on the app before everyone else did. Tomorrow's World had a feature on it. It was huge. It was absolutely huge.
Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I thought
what was that program that they did, The Sky at Night? Oh, The Sky at Night. Where
Patrick Moore.
They were doing.
He was Games Master.
They were doing all this stuff. Sky at Night were really promoting this. They were so excited about this.
There was a thing on BBC Two where I think his name was Edmund Haley. I think his name was pronounced Hawley, actually.
Yeah.
He was played by Tim Brooke Taylor, and he was traveling through space, sat on his comet, and the comet was talking to him and everything. I remember at the time. Yeah, that was quite different, but fun.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? I will be, if I'm lucky enough to be still walking this earth, 91 the next time that Halley's Comet appears, because Stephen O'Neill's checked for us. Halley's Comet will next be visible from Earth in 2061, roughly around about July 2061. It's probably going to be around about July the 5th. But, something like that.
Wow.
So Doctor Who won't be there to do it. So it was great and topical that it did it last time. Isn't that fab? Really, really good. So thanks for that, for looking that up for us, Steve. Really appreciate that. But hello, Idiot Proof Dalek. How are you? Thank you for your email this week. Nice to hear from you. And yeah, Robert Thomas saying to us, we said at the top of the show, the writer of this story is contested. While it is acknowledged that Paula Moore is the ghostwriter, Eric Saywood and Ian Levine both claim authorship and fight it out for ownership of the story plot. Yeah, I mean, you can look at the documentary. So Levine did give the continuity tips as well, but Saywood does say he now owns up and says, no, I did it. And he couldn't admit it at the time because he was script editing and he wasn't allowed to do
Yeah.
I think Levine claimed a lot of things. He claimed he saved the Daleks, didn't he? But I think that was other people. So I always take those claims with a
that was me. I found it. Okay, I'm saying that now.
So when Barry Letts wrote things like the Demons and the Time Monster and Planet of the Spiders, he done it with Robert Sloman, didn't he? And was it a joint venture then, do you think, or was it mostly Barry's work?
Guy Leopold.
Yeah,
Guy
they
Leopold,
had a pseudonym, didn't they?
It was usually between him and Terence.
Was it? Yeah. I remember reading that it was mostly Barry's work rather than anybody else's, and Terence's obviously being script editor.
Yeah. I mean, Eric, if you ever meet Eric, he'll tell you now because it's so far removed from the event. He'll just tell you, no, I did it.
Yeah, fair enough, isn't it?
And Eric Say was on the season 21 box set, and he's looking quite frail now these days.
Yeah.
Well, he must be blessing. He must be getting on now, mustn't he? He must be in his 80s now, mustn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the story's every inch and Eric's story, isn't it? I think
definitely,
very much a resurrection of Earthshock's visitation style kind of Eric story. Cracking story. I like what he done.
Sheila B in the Devotions has just joined us in the chat. Nice to see you, lady. How are you? Hope you've had a nice day. Forbidden Manil saying it'll be just our luck that the UK will be covered in clouds, so those of us who stay up to watch it will miss it. Let's just hope the Earth's still around. Oh dear, it's so funny. I love it all. Right, so what are the standout points for you guys on the panel of Attack of the Cybermen then? Anything we've missed in this review?
My standout thing was the camera work, where you see from Lytton's point of view looking up at the cyber controller, the way that was filmed. It's a clever shot. That
there's another one, Labella, that when they go.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
There's another one, Lex, like that when he gets pulled down the stairs. From that little tube they go up, and the Cybermen are looking down on him. There's 3 of them. I think.
You can see the
that
fear
looks great.
in his face.
Yeah.
You feel like this is it for him. You know, when he's like really petrified.
In retrospect, we were so lucky to get Matthew Robinson on 2 Doctor Who's. I know they tried to get him back later, but then that season was cancelled, wasn't it? The season 23, we were going to do one then. And then we lost him because he went on and he did other stuff. But he's he's like Graham Harper in a sense. He's a very action adventure, physical, on the set with the actors, director. And if we'd had a lot more of those sort of directors, they would have beefed up practically every script that Doctor Who produced, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Was he going to direct Nightmare Fair back in the day when it was in season 23?
Oh, was it?
I think it might have been,
Or was it the Singapore one?
Was it the Black Pill one?
Yellow Fever.
I can't remember. Probably, we'll go with that one, Paul. It was definitely either the Celestial Toymaker or the Autondrani Masterfest.
Yeah,
one of the two. But we never got them, which is honestly, as I said before, if we'd got 23 and it was in the mold of this season, it would have been incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people like Matthew Robinson and Graham Harper and Peter Grimwade as well were 3 great 80s directors. I wish they all did more, to be fair.
Yeah. That was the BBC as it worked back then, though. I mean, John could put in the request, and he was very lucky, I think, Nathan Turner, because he got a lot of the ones he wanted, but there were people that just were unavailable because they were popular. Working on Bergerac or EastEnders at this point or whatever, you know. Yeah. I have to say, I love the little bits of humor that are in this. I suddenly feel conspicuous. I'm not surprised. Wonderful scene, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. I wish they kept up that level of Dr. Peri relationship.
Yeah.
You know, with her being slightly tongue in cheek to him, but I mean you can tell. And it might be a mistake in a sense, but there's that lovely scene in the TARDIS, you know, where the Doctor is saying to Peri, "I think we should investigate," and Nicola is smiling so warmly at Colin. This is Nicola, not Peri. That's Nicola smiling at Colin. That's what they should have captured.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful scene where she is looking at him and she just loves him. you know.
And that's what you get in that TARDIS thing that made me cry. Do you know when they made it like a couple of years back, and you had
the 30th anniversary crap.
Yeah, and you had Colin and Nick
not 30th, 60th. Yeah,
60th.
Isn't it one part in the first part when she's, I'm scared, Doctor, I'm scared, doesn't she? She opens up, she's scared about it.
And Ali's comment,
he's not the most reassuring, but I suppose you kind of it both ways, because Colin plays a more abrasive Doctor, but there are times where maybe it's a little bit too, I don't know, maybe.
It's like, as well with the Doctor, when one of the major alien characters speaks to him and says, maybe your Time Lords have brought you here, and then the penny drops, and you're thinking, maybe they brought me here.
Yeah.
And he's shouting.
And then he's shouting up at him.
He says, why me? Why me? It's always me.
Yeah. And he's right, though, isn't it? Again, it's another nice little bit of continuity. It reminds me a bit of the Brain of Morbius scene.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. He suddenly, it's when it dawns on him. It's me. I love it. Colin, again, because he knows the character, he has an awareness because he's a fan. He's got awareness of the history. He just plays it so brilliantly, you know. Even though I know a lot of you will say it's OTT, it absolutely is, but that's the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah,
it's quite emotive, just not in the way we expect him to be.
Yeah,
you know. As Lytton says, your regeneration has made you vindictive, Doctor. I've always found it easy to despise people like you.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And Lytton's detective work as well. You know, when he finds the sonic lens, he goes, I knew he would be here. The Doctor.
We've been running a poll actually for you all in the show tonight, and I'm actually going to stop it now. So thank you for that. I asked you in the show, would you welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who? I can tell you that 94% of you watching us throughout the show this evening said yes, you would, and 6% of you said no. So, 94% of our audience this evening live on the show would welcome a return to this style of Doctor Who, which I would thought meant action, adventure, science fiction, thriller type thing. So there we go. Thank you, everybody, for that. That's very interesting. I love these things. They're all done for fun, but I do like them. 94% of our audience in the chat said yes, they would. What do you reckon to that, guys?
No, I'm not surprised.
I can't see why you wouldn't. After what you
it's
guys
everything
see.
you want it to be, isn't it? It's absolutely everything you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Fast moving, twists and turns, good characterization, lots of action.
Yeah.
And decent story.
I think you could sit down, and it's hard to say because I'm not a not we, I'm a we, but I think you can just sit down as a not we and enjoy it as an action story outside of all of the whole science fiction trappings. You know, it's an entertaining hour and a half of telling.
Yeah.
And it's also now familiar in a sense. It's got that warm, familiar Doctor Who vibe. And this is what inspired me to ask you guys that question in the poll, because I'm watching this thinking, I was thrilled when this was on in 1985, just thinking I'm so excited about this. It was energetic, and it was Doctor Who as it was in the 80s, and we had our new Doctor hitting the ground running. And I watched it again last night, and I was right back there being that 15-year-old again, being thrilled on the 5th of January, thinking, oh my God, we've got weeks of this. You know, before the world changed on us forever. As Doctor Who fans, you know, this was the last happy moment we had of Doctor Who, really, wasn't it? Nothing was ever the same after February 1985.
That's when we all got very twitchy after that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Also, it lost its way because the BBC just they didn't care, so they weren't giving any advice or something. So we never got this quality again.
No,
you know, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some good stuff coming up in Syl's time, as we know. But it wasn't like this. It didn't feel the same as this. It wasn't as bodied, I don't think, as this.
Partly because the season was so short after this as well. I think there's a huge difference there wasn't enough content, enough episodes really after this. This was the last, I suppose, in old money 26 episode season, isn't it? Really?
It's 13 episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah. But if you in terms of the minutes, it's effectively a 26 episode season, isn't it?
I can see that now. Yeah.
Since John saying to us, I love this style of Doctor Who. I do enjoy this story the more I watch it. Vengeance of Varos is one of my favorites, and I love Syl. Colin did have some good stories, and he was treated unfairly. Yeah.
I remember loving season 22 as a 15-year-old. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a real return to form. I loved 21, but 22 took it even more. I loved every story in it all the time. And it got really dark, didn't it? With things like Revelation and Varos were quite dark and gritty.
Every story, Graham. Just checking.
Every single story, Graham. You're correct. There's no bad one.
I'm just testing.
Listen, I'm going to say it again. I will take Time Lash from this season over anything that's been on alleged Doctor Who over the last several years. Any day. Time Lash is now a classic compared to that crap I had to live through.
I don't think there's not an unwatchable one in it. There's not. There's not one that you can't enjoy.
No. I'm going to admit, Time Lash is entertaining for a number of reasons, definitely.
Yeah, it is by far.
Not all of them intentionally.
It's the run of the litter, maybe, isn't it, Time Lash? But it's still, like you say, it's still got lots going for it, and its heart's in the right place. And it's got a nice picture of Pertwee on a wall. What more do you want?
Idiot Proof Dalek is saying that people have made the criticism that after Resurrection and Caves, the production team thought every story had to be grim and gritty. I'm a bit torn on it, really. A bit more whimsy would have been nice. Yeah, I mean, I think there is. I just think if they'd listened more to Colin and Nicola, what you're talking about there, Idiot Proof Dalek, about that whimsy would have come in naturally. But they didn't. John didn't. Eric didn't. They just weren't interested in the input of their actors, which I think was a mistake. They learned because they corrected that for Sylvester and Sophie.
Yeah.
It's a shame,
I
really.
find Mark Lorani quite whimsical.
I love Mark Lorani. It's great.
Tree minds.
But Marnie's going that way, isn't it? It's more that kind of a.
I've got this from PTA who's saying, sorry for my comments earlier. Maybe I didn't take to Colin and Nicholas so much because I was in the army and as I didn't have the power to stop army operations every 7 p.m. So unfortunately, PTA, you don't have to apologize.
Yeah, we don't.
No, apologize.
Apology accepted.
Yeah, I'm never.
You just off my Christmas card list. I'm just telling you that now.
I mean, PTA, all views are welcome here. You don't have to like Colin's Doctor or Syl's Doctor or Tom or Peter or anything. I will never apologise for the fact I've never watched the Whittaker era and never will, and I can't stand the bloody Ncuti Gatwa era or his interpretation or Russell's writing. I'll never apologise. Don't you know us, PTA? You're very, very.
And also, the thing is, sometimes you change your opinion, don't you? You watch something and you think to yourself, well, wasn't and then later on you watch it and you think that's just like, really a good story. So opinions change.
You have to be right mood sometimes, don't you? Yeah.
Paul's got his freedom of speech, that's what it is for, isn't it? His point of view.
Yeah. And all opinions are welcome here. We've always said that, and nobody gets piled on. But PTA, interested. What part of the army, please? Curious. Thank you.
Yeah, let Third Doctor know. The brilliant thing about it as well is what PTA just said there is this is what we used to do back in the day around the pubs and in the local groups. We'd discuss with each other, why didn't you like that Doctor? And you would put the case, remember? You would put the case to it, about, but there was this bit. And then you would have that sort of, blah, 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 agree to disagree. And that was it because we knew it was just the telly, it was just the telly. Yeah. Whereas today, fandom take it far too seriously. And for some of them, as I said before, there's a big shock coming to some of them. I'm going to have to go into therapy on the way right now, I tell you. Time Lash and Time Flight, says Stephen O'Neill, are acting masterpieces compared to the shite of the last 8 years. I'm very glad you've said that,
like
Stephen.
both of them.
I'm very glad you've said that.
I do.
I'm very glad you've said that because
I love Time Flight. Time Flight's one of my favourites.
The idea of Time Flight, I think I've said it before. But
we'll get back to Attack of the Cybermen, though. We'll get back to Attack of the Cybermen.
And things.
Yeah, we'll stick with Attack of the Cybermen because it's coming up to that time now, everybody, where I am going to ask you, of course, for your scores on the TARDIS doors. So you can start putting your marks out of 10 in the chat now. I'll run the titles, and then we'll have a look and see what the panel thinks about it. Here we go.
Scores on the TARDIS doors. If you like this story, did you think it bores? Give your scores on the TARDIS doors.
we go then with scores on the TARDIS doors. Thanks again to Miles D for that fabulous little jingle we've got there now. Now, before we get to the panel and before I get to you guys into the chat with your scores on the TARDIS doors, we've got a special guest coming in to join us. This is Phil's lad. He's been on the show before. Teddy was introduced to Attack of the Cybermen for the first time yesterday, and he's done a little scores on the TARDIS doors review for us. Here he is.
So, my scores on the TARDIS doors is 9 out of 10 because I like the Cryons and the bit where the Doctor said that the policeman was just taking a little rest, even though he was not. And I also like the Cybermen, that they were very, very brutal.
Smashing. Thank you, Teddy. So that's a 9 from the youth, one of our youngest viewers.
I've told you before he's going to be running this channel before you know it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Teddy. Appreciate it. So we're starting with a 9 out of 10. Wow. It says it all, everybody, doesn't it? It says, come on. Yeah. This is 1985 Doctor Who. Come on. All right, Paul, you started off there. What's your score for the TARDIS door? Okay,
brace yourselves. I'm going to ramble for a bit. Okay, so this story for me is a game of two halves. I love episode 1. It's superb. Episode 2 is the weaker of the two, but I love this story. I love Colin. He's brilliant. And my favourite character is Griffiths, Brian Glover. He steals the show. He's so funny. He's brilliant. So I'm going to copy Ted 9 out of 10. Okay,
that's smashing.
Okay. Yeah.
Paul, Ian, have you seen this from PTA, the RAMC? Oh, we've lost you. Oh, hang on, let me just unmute you. You're muted there for. Oh no, you're muted. There you go.
There we go. Nice one. Medical Corps. Nice to hear. Good service.
Okay, Lex. So we've got 9 out of 10 from Paul. Lex, what are you going to give it?
Okay, this has been a difficult one. If they cut down the closing violence scene with Lytton in the end, I would have given a higher score. But good story, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 from Lex. Graham, what are you going to give it?
Well, I like this, as I said earlier. It's just all through is pretty good stuff. And I quite like the actual central premise of the Cybermen trying to change the course of time. I thought that's quite a clever little thingy.
Yeah.
It's an 8 out of 10. I think it's not probably much more than that, but it's certainly no worse than that. 8 out of 10 for me.
Smashing. Phil?
It's difficult because generally I start thinking about what I don't like when I get to my scores on the TARDIS doors, and that kind of chips away from the 10 and gets me to a number. But there's not really a lot I don't like about it. I really enjoy it. I like the premise. I think the idea that they might want to save their home planet by destroying ours makes complete sense. I always like it when there's not many Cybermen. So that little sort of team on the Earth that then joins back up with the ones on Telos, I think is great. And I love the whole rogue one. So I think I have to give it a 10 because I haven't got anything that honestly I dislike about it particularly. Yeah, and I disagree, Lex, entirely about the violence part, because I think the violence makes the Cybermen scary. And that whole bit where Colin's kind of rolling around with the cyber gun and kind of popping them all off makes the Doctor scary. And I like that kind of not quite knowing what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's probably not crying like it would be now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do it. It's up there with Time Lash for me. It's a 10.
Good for you. 10 that's great. We didn't talk about that, Ember, because that is the point of some controversy. I don't understand why the Doctor is actually at that point fighting for his life. You've got all these big hulking, and you've got a very, very strong cyber controller at you. What's he going to do? Sit there and sonic it? Oh, don't be daft. Of course he's going to shoot the bugger. I don't think it was out of character. I think it's absolutely in touch with the character, especially from, because look what Pertwee does in Day of the Daleks for no reason at all. Yeah.
And
the
even
fourth
the kind
Doctor
of
has a few elements. Look at the seeds of doom, and here we've got the Doctor actually justified in picking up the weapon because he's about to be destroyed.
Yeah, it's kill or be killed in that.
It is,
and even giving like, is it Flask, isn't it? The sonic lance, knowing that what she intends to do with it. I think that's a merciful thing, isn't it? Because she's gone a bit mental from being on her own and being sad for so long. So I don't think there's any out.
So what does she intend to do with it? Do you know?
What?
Never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, so it's a 10 from Phil there. Thank you very much. Third Doctor Ian, what are you going to give Attack of the Cybermen?
I do. It's a good season opener, isn't it? It's nice to see Malloy replicate Michael Wisher, appearing twice in one season. One Dalek story each, one Cyberman story each, and the Dalek story is playing Davros. So he was replicating Michael Wisher very closely there. I like that little thing that he had going there. It's quite a story with scale, isn't it? Because they were mining the surface of Telos to blow it up to replicate what would happen on Earth when they crashed Halley's Comet into it. So it was like a big sort of like proof of concept, really. So they were definitely thinking big, and it was interesting that they hadn't, like the Daleks, invented time travel. They'd captured the spaceship that could travel through time,
and so therefore didn't understand it properly.
Exactly that, and
hence the Time Lords getting involved.
It had a lot going for it, to be quite honest. So I mean, for me, I'd say 9.
A 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with Teddy.
High marks for this.
I was expecting worse.
I loved it, and as I say, I appreciate it more having not seen it for a while, and then watching it again, having been through the crap that we have been through over the last several years. I appreciated it even more. I still think, as I say, it just took me right back to the 5th of January, 1985. It was like yesterday, and I appreciate it for doing that for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Attack of the Cybermen is getting a 10 out of 10 for me. I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I really appreciated it. So, fabulous. Bring it all on, I say. Let's get into the chat, guys. See what they're saying to us in the chat. Rory Neal is kicking us off here with a 7 out of 10. Jess Corbin is with us, giving it a 10 out of 10. PTA is giving it a 5. No problem, PTA. Thank you for being honest. Thank you. Paul Richards is just saying to us here, when I met Colin Baker, he was such a gentleman and very nice to chat with. He also isn't keen on the sexualization of the Doctor. Yes, there are certain points where Colin can be, God love him, honest. And he'll say things like the sexuality, but there are other things I wouldn't agree with him on. But there we go. Davey B is saying, give it a 7. He is a gent, though. He's a lovely man. Give it a 7, says Davey B. Thank you. Forbidden Man is saying, yep, this is an easy 10. Thank you for that, mate. Bill Lowry is saying 8 out of 10. Good introduction to new characters and Alien. Generally good nostalgia fest. Idiot Proof Dalek is saying to us, this channel makes me so happy and it bloody jingles. Thanks for that, Idiot Proof. And we've got Richard Brooks. My score is 10 out of 10. I forgive the few flaws. That's where I'm at now. I do. St. John is saying I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Jess Corbin also adding to her score, you can't beat classic Doctor Who. It's simple, it's entertaining, it's enjoyable. It's like scones, strawberry jam, and Cornish clotted cream. Oh, no, I want that. Said it now, Jess. Oh, I want that now. Yes. Derek Hart, an excellent 100. And the Jason Parker is saying 9 out of 10. I'm going to say it again. Huge scores, RTD. Have a word with yourself, will you? Miles D is saying to us, could we pay you to watch the Whittaker era, JT? Would be great to see a reaction vid.
I've tried that.
Well, you know, if it was one episode and we're talking a 5-figure sum, yeah, we can talk. You know my email, Miles, who's1 at gmail.com. Here we go here. Paul Richards is saying it's a 10 out of 10. My favorite Cyberman story from the 80s. There were only 4, weren't they, including the five Doctors? There were only 4, really. Yeah. More than the 70s, though, eh, lads? Chris Kaz is saying 8 out of 10. Rest is for the weary, sleep is for the dead. It sounds like Whose Views May schedule. Oh. It is a busy month this month, isn't it? Funky is saying to us, I'm having problems working out my score. Perhaps I'm a bit unstable. Unstable? Unstable? It's a 7 out of 10. Pete Harrington is also saying, well done, Teddy, for Ted's video there.
That on.
Thank you. Rory is saying it's a 7. Pete Harrington is saying it's an excellent 9. Sheila B in the Devotions is giving it a 7. Thank you, Sheila B. Itagishi is giving it 8 out of 10 for the Headless Deadly Cybermen. Now, there's a story.
Which
Can you imagine
one?
that? I know. That'd be really good, wouldn't it? Dirty Davros is giving it a 7 out of 10. Cybermen utilized the humans midway through the conversion. That was scary. Half Cybermen, and you still had your memory. Oh, terrible, isn't it? It's awful, that. Lots of scores coming in now. Dalek Shalom is giving it a 9 out of 10. Lost 1 for overdoing the soundtrack. Oh, it wasn't as bad as today, Dalek Shalom.
Well, the music was great. The music was great.
Yeah. Malcolm Clark.
Very 80s, very
wonderful.
80s, very 80s.
It's also carrying on from Earthshock, of course, which is up on the channel. I have had a few of you actually getting in touch saying, when are you doing Earthshock? Are you doing Earthshock as part of your Cyberman 60? Yes, of course we are. Stay tuned. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're still subscribed because it is on the way. But not yet. More Grim Brown Bread is saying 9 out of 10. The steptoe music and clunky cliffhanger at episode 1 prevent a 10. Fair enough. Stephen O'Neill is coming in with an 8 out of 10. It's a very atmospheric story, but I don't like the hand-crushing scene, and Colin Baker isn't my favourite Doctor. So I'm off his Christmas list then. Not that I was ever on it in the first place. Pete Harrington is saying that Colin Baker had good knees. Absolutely. Darren Reed is saying there's better to come in the season, but it's solid and entertaining start. It's a 7, I think. Yep, okay. Thank you very much. Any more in here? Well, we've done this one already, Synth John, because Synth John is saying if Phil's score for Attack of the Cybermen is 10, then Time Lash must be infinity out of 10. We actually did Time Lash a couple of Christmases ago. You can.
You only gave it 5, didn't you, Phil? That was it.
Yeah, I didn't like it so much then. On the rewatch, found it a bit boring. Of course, it was a 10.
It's on the playlist for you. You can go and look in our playlist. You can see it there in our reviews. You can see Phil's reaction to Time Lash then. Idiot Proof Dalek says it's a solid 7 out of 10 for me. Good. It's just good scores. You did wonderful scores. Avon 01, good to see it. Giving it a 7. Good score. Giorgio's with us. Hello, you. How are you? 10. It's a lovely story to start the season off. Fantastic. I mean, I'm so impressed with our scores and our viewer scores. You know what I mean, guys? Week after week, I mean, these things. Miles D is saying it's a 10 out of 10. Whoop, whoop, I can't fault it.
Great jingle, great score.
Yeah. I'd hire Miles and Problem Being to do incidental music for any new series of Doctor Who I would be lucky enough to produce. I tell you, they come up with gems. And John Roberts is also giving it a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this episode, and I love Colin as the Doctor. Aurum, how are you, fella? It's a confusing and messy plot. It could have been a lot clearer. It's far too self-referential for viewers that aren't the super fans. It could have easily have been a 10 out of 10 story. Oh, so what are you giving it then, Aurum? Let me know. Well, Robert Payne is saying, I don't know out of 10 because I haven't seen it in a while. Next time, do your homework, Robert. I give you weeks.
Wow.
And Aurum is actually adding to that. Why doesn't Peri leg it from Crazy Colin's Doctor as soon as she realizes that she's back on Contemporary? Well, because she does actually secretly like him.
She likes him.
Yeah, she likes traveling. You know, she's traveling in time, but she gets in all sorts of trouble, of course, but that's because of the writing. And Aurum is also saying, I'll give it a 7. There you go. That's still a good score, I think. Yeah. Thanks, Robert Payne, saying, I know my place. Yeah, do your homework. Otherwise, you get in that corner, Robert. Any more scores on the TARDIS doors there, guys? Otherwise, I will call that a day. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What another way of just celebrating the Cybermen 60th this year, guys, with this one. Colin Baker's only television story with the Cybermen. Not saying anything else. You have to be subscribed to the channel if you're new to us. If you are not new to us, make sure you are still subscribed to the channel because we haven't quite finished with that yet, have we? Ooh, no, we haven't. I'm going to call it a day on the scores from the TARDIS doors, and I'm going to say a huge thank you to Paul, to Lex, to Graham, to Phil, and to Third Doctor Ian for joining us for this review. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Very much
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
Lovely, yeah.
Great show, great show.
Thank you to Teddy as well for for sitting through it, Teddy, with your dad. Thank you so much.
Loved it. What
for giving
absolute
us a
treat.
Yeah.
A good taste. Yeah.
He has, yeah. And to everybody joining us for the chat tonight, thank you so much for this. Yeah, stay with us. We've got lots more coming up for you. We're now going back to our celebrations of 40 years of the 8th Doctor. You've got headlines coming up for you on Sunday. You've got a chit chat dropping on Friday. We'll be back with the headlines on Sunday, and then our live review on Monday night of the Night of the Doctor. How we're going to get an hour show out of a 6-minute thing, I don't know.
Well, we'll manage it. We'll manage it. Yeah.
We'll manage it.
Shot for
Anyway.
shot. Yeah.
If you receive your 8th Doctor TV movie Blu-rays over the next few days, enjoy every minute. We will be reviewing it a week on Saturday. And of course, next week here on Who's Views, on the birthday night itself, we will be celebrating the 30th anniversary of the TV movie in its broadcast date on BBC One in the UK. So we've still got a lot coming up for you. There's also a little bit of a hint dropping on the channel tomorrow as to what we're going to be doing in June. That's all I'm saying.
Can we just say, JT, sorry.
What's going on, Ian?
Can we just say, sorry, I apologise profusely if this was done at the start and everything else. But in talk of all the anniversaries and everything else, can we just mention Jon Pertwee today?
We did at the top of the
And
show.
my apologies. I missed that.
There was no way we were going to let that go.
Appreciate that.
But yet again, to John, always remembered. Always remembered.
Yeah.
From all of us here on the channel, look after yourselves, guys. We'll see you again for our next scheduled live show, which will be Sunday with your big show headlines live at 8. From the panel, from myself, take care of yourselves, everybody. We'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.